All right, everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. You know, I can honestly say the reason why we've named it I Disagree is because it's two words I believe that have not only changed my life, but we all wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't say I disagree. So here's basically what we stand for. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. Here we go. You guys ready for the first one? It's pretty cool because I'm actually staring at the confidence monitor. Does anybody know why they call it the confidence monitor?
Give you confidence.
No, I have confidence. I don't need a monitor. You know what I'm saying? It's like
conference. I thought I was saying conference.
Yeah.
Makes
Sorry.
you way above average.
Got her. Yeah, that's right.
Above average confidence.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. We are live, and I want to thank our media team for adding more things that we have up on our monitors and stuff like that. So if you see me looking up, I'm just looking at the cameras, looking at things. But great job, team, for doing this stuff. But welcome. We have some returning guests, and actually we have a guest that sat in the audience during time, and we're going to introduce everybody coming up here shortly. But hey, welcome. What episode is this, like 8 or something like that?
I don't know.
I wrote 8.
I think it's
8. That's what I thought. I thought it was 8.
Okay.
And we've had huge success. Thank you guys for all your comments. Now, once again, as you can see, I know it's delayed by about a second, but you can see that I have my phone up there. I'm watching people that pop on live, and your comments, leave comments. And remember, guys, if you want our position or statement read that you want to see that you put out there, just leave it in the comments below, and we'll write it down. Because, like I said, this podcast we came together, and I make a very bold statement, and I allow people to say I disagree or I agree, and then we have some discussions. And the one thing I've been finding out that's been pretty cool is the fact that a lot of people will say I agree, and you find out they still have 2 different positions on what they agree upon, or how they came to their conclusion, which has been really neat and stuff. Because I disagree. It's pretty easy to see why they disagree, but it's kind of neat seeing that when people even disagree, they disagree for different reasons. So, anyways, so what we're gonna do is this. As always, we're gonna introduce everybody, and I want to know. I was going to say male or female, but I think we can. Sometimes you don't know.
You don't
know. Exactly. Married, single, age, what else? Career.
Whatever
something
you wanna
unique
share.
about yourself, and share anything you want that way. If you also have your own podcast or business, please do me a favor. I'm a big capitalist, so I like promoting other people's businesses. I like promoting people's jobs because I love success. I think success breeds more success. So I love that my audience knows what other people do. So I'm very proud of that when people have success in any area, to please share it. But we're going to start over Gene. We're going to come around all the way to Kathy. Guys, and like I said, and then Dana reminded me because her friends on the show said I forgot to introduce myself again. But I think since I'm a host, I never have to do it. But I'll just give myself a little intro. So we'll end with me. But all right, Gene, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, I'm Jean Wald. Nice to meet all of you and anybody viewing today. I am 55 as of August, so great month.
Same, yes.
I have a 27-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 21-year-old. And my 27-year-old just got married, my daughter, in August. Great month. And what else can I say? I am employed at the Pharmacy Restorative Eatery downstairs at 2515 West Mason.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
come in
Little promotion.
anytime. I will see you. So you might recognize my face.
Yes.
Awesome.
Joe.
Good evening. I'm Joe Bush. I live in central Wisconsin. I'm 45 years old. I'm single. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Rayleigh Hope Bush. I was born breech on my mother's birthday. That's a fun fact for you. So she loves me. I'm passionate. I'm obsessed with saving kids, feeding kids, nourishing kids, helping kids that have been trafficked. So that's what I'm all about.
I didn't realize you had that nice wavy hair.
It's the longest my hair's ever been.
I'll say last time you're on it, but it looks darn nice.
Because every
He hasn't cut it
other
since then,
Sunday, every other Sunday for 18 years, I got a haircut.
Yeah.
My dad gave us a haircut whether we needed it or not. So now at 45, I'm growing it out.
Nice.
So yeah, it's.
What's funny, people don't realize, I have my high school graduation picture down on my desk. I used to have a mullet, and I used to have long hair in the middle of my back.
That's hot.
It was kind of funny. It was like, I always said, I learned something in high school. I learned that there was 2 types of guys in high school. Me and guys that want to be like me. So it's just a normal thing. You know? You can steal that one, Joe. That's it. All right.
Is this up top?
Co-host.
In the back. Travis, I'm a co-host. I'm having a blast doing this, by the way. I'm 42, but I'm actually 8 years old, but I read at a 11-year-old. So that's pretty cool. Something cool about me, I work here. I've been here for a couple of years now, and I've been friends with Doc for a long time. And I have a smoking hot wife in the audience, and she's amazing and
Yeah.
supports all that I do. I have 2 kids. One is 19, engaged, and I have another one who is 13 and a carbon copy of me.
Nice.
Other co-host.
My name's Dana. I'm 34. I've been married for 9 years. I have 2 boys that are 6 and 8, Jack and Max. I am a clinical nutritionist. I actually went to school to be an accountant. I was a CPA for 10 years and I worked on taxes, but then I decided that wasn't really for me because, like, come on. And so then I switched careers because I'm really passionate about health, so that's where the clinical nutrition came into place. And then now I also obviously co-host this podcast, and I make content for men looking for dating advice, where I basically just end up supporting the patriarchy and men and masculinity and all of those things. And that's Dana Disagrees on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Now, the one thing I have to say is, it's obviously the fact that people must not want to know that kind of information, because you just had a video hit how many views?
We're at 9.9 million. I'm only 97,000 away from 10 million.
Yeah.
It's going to get there. Just give it a little more time.
Yeah, as I love when people have success, what's kind of really neat for me, and I take this very seriously, and it's the fact that when I recognize talent, and Joe, I recognize talent, and you like crazy too, is like, and Mike, just getting to know you, and stuff is this, is like going, I love when people overlook people and then don't, and I'm like going, no one gave you the opportunity, I'll come with me. The opportunity, and I saw Dan's talent, and actually Dan's one of the major reasons why we have this podcast, because she stood up at a seminar and asked a very bold question, and I was like, and we were already friends for a couple of years there because we fight for the same things, very health freedom oriented, and that's why we became friends. And it's kind of neat. And then I saw Dana, I'm like, Dana, why don't you have a platform and stuff like that? And I'm like, hey,
Don't
listen,
you give me one.
yes.
That's not-
Well, no, but
No.
but here's the opposite. There's a lot of people that ask for that all the time, but then I'm like, okay, and then obviously you become very close friends to a lot of people
Right.
here. You have very close friends outside here and things like that. But and then looks what's happened now, and so just very
Yeah.
excited for that. So tell them where it's at. What's the name again?
Dana Disagrees on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
And you cannot see me on TikTok because I was banned yesterday.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was
saw that.
banned. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Again.
again, you know what I'm saying? No, it's the first time I've been banned by
Fuckers.
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, saying so it's like my wonderful Miranda, she actually started me a new TikTok account, so we'll have that out thing then, but it'll fill up again fast, kind of go. So, Mike, what you got? Tell us a little about yourself.
Awesome. My name's Mike Olson, out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Born, raised. Thank you. Appreciate love.
Yes.
Hometown love here. With that, I have a beautiful fiance. She's given me 2 beautiful kids, 7 and 3. I am 38 years old. I've been a part of Verizon for about 8 to 9 years right now, selling, developing, and I love it.
Nice.
Something cool about me from my childhood as well. Had a crib, any normal child and stuff like that. But apparently I had this issue where I would sleepwalk. So my mother found it to be in the best interest to tie a board down on that crib so I wouldn't escape at night. Smarter mind here would say hide a fork under the pillow and escape, which I did. So,
Nice.
but a weird thing for a parent to do, and this is where we sit.
That's awesome.
I'm glad you got out.
I love the
I am here.
I love the fun facts about everybody. So, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Skinkiss. I'm 58 years old. I've been married almost 36 years. Have 3 adult daughters, 34, 32, and just about 30. I've worked in healthcare my whole adult life. I've been like over 37 years in multiple sectors of healthcare. I guess that's about it.
Who are you married to?
Love it.
Who was the special guest last week?
Oh, my husband.
Yes, Kelly was on last week and stuff, so
Awesome.
that's fantastic. So, well, great. Well, as always, I introduced myself, Patrick Flynn. Started the Wellness Way 1999, and it based on those 2 words right there. I disagree. I still remember that the time I proposed and stuff a long, long time ago. Oh my gosh, it's been 24 years ago, and I remember knowing that I was always going to be against the grain and disagreeing with most of the things in life. And I said, you know something? Being married to me is going to be very difficult. Do you understand? Not because because I knew I was a wonderful man, and that had nothing to do with that. I'm saying just saying the fact that it's like going forward, that when you go against the grain or you disagree with the majority of the population, it's kind of funny. It's difficult. It's an uphill battle. I tell people the things that we discussed today. It seems like it's an uphill battle, even though it's just simple truth. And we're talking about that today, so it's kind of cool. And which reminds me, I always love talking about this. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. The purpose that we came up with is to show a different perspective on the 4 topics that we love talking about, because this has been also even my own career: health, men and women, politics, and religion. Now, also, I have a rule when it comes to everything. Remember, if I find people talking about the exceptions, not the rules, we're gonna stop you, because I know a lot of people. I was give an example to set the premise. My feelings about abortion, I'm against it. So therefore, people say they go already the pro-abortion people, which is cool. You can have whatever beliefs you want, but the idea is this: they go, well, what about rape and incest? I'm like, okay, it's a small fraction. It's the exception, not the rule. The rule is the majority is just pure birth control. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, if we can agree that was a dumb idea, then we can start talking about the exceptions later. So if I find you guys talking about the exceptions, I'm gonna be like, exception, not the rule, and stop. And I've had to do that with basically almost everybody too, because it happens a lot.
Pretty much.
Yes. So
I've been
so
using that, by the way, the last
it's a
month.
good one, isn't it?
I use
Yeah.
that 2 or 3 times a
Very
day.
Yeah.
effective tool. In
Yes.
I use it
Yeah.
religiously.
Yeah, because in general, we can say this: there's basic truths that are good for society, good for marriages, good for people, good for health, and then people always talk about the exceptions and stuff. It's like, I tell people, and we can use them. For example, even the health one, it's like, guess what? There's people that smoke for 50 years and never have a spot in their lung. Okay, exception, not the rule. We probably agree that smoking's not good for you.
Unless
Sam.
it's a hand-rolled premium cigar.
Oh, therefore, yes,
Then it's
the best
great for
ones,
you.
It's
the
awesome.
best ones. Actually, it's kind of cool. Do you know what's really funny? Do you know how to negate a lot of bad health stuff instantly in smoking? Exercise. It is, because actually, if you exercise and smoke, you have a chance of living longer than if you just smoke at all and stuff. So it's kind of funny how that negates the stuff. So see, there's always things you can counteract with the body that way. The exception's not the rule. Okay. So that being said, and I love my great cigars, just to let you know too. So it's like I got some great ones. So we'll have to have one then time after and stuff. So
I got a lighter in my pocket. If you
nice. nice. We should turn this into a smoking man's room. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of what I was thinking.
I was gonna say, throw it there. That'd be great.
I got one right.
That's right. Except for the alarm will go off. Sprinklers will go off. It's all waterproof.
I disagree.
Let's make a
whatever I
smoking room. So, all right. So how everything goes is I like to make a statement. Now, the 2 statements that are going to be laid out today, and we end up in all different topics, is something I truly believe. Now, once again, we've had Dana do one, we've had Ross do one, we have Travis do one, we have our people. Now, remember, guys, the statements that I'm going to make with, and we're going to talk about, and we're going to start with Gene, we're going all the way around. The first thing you just say is, I agree or I disagree. Now, once again, and don't explain why, because I want to get everybody to agree or disagree, because we found out, which was really interesting after the first show, that if someone said I disagree and explain, by the time the last person, they may have even changed their mind. So I don't want to maybe make their argument or their thing to it until we get through the thing, and then we'll do is and then during time I might be firing off some questions for you guys and stuff like that, because I want to dig a little deeper and see what people say. So these statements are something that once again, these are 2 that I believe. Okay. And therefore, what happens is this: is that we're going to go around, and then I'm going to come back. So Gene, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to come back around. And once again, now remember, they always start with some topic, and it's always sometimes a little bit controversy for a lot of people, but then, like I said, I get a chance to explain after all you guys talk a little bit that way. So here we go. So are you guys ready? And just as guys, for the audience, I do not tell them what the statements are. I want true authenticity, first reactions and stuff like that. And but it's just really neat. Actually, that's why as co-hosts we kind of come up with them a little bit. But then every once in a while I throw a little monkey wrench and then change it a little bit. And then Dana has a seizure and stuff like that. So here we go. Here's a statement, and we're gonna start. And Gene, we're gonna start with you. Remember, just I disagree or I agree, and then we'll go around and then we'll come back. So this is my statement. So you can either agree with me or disagree. Here it is. Women should not get government assistance just because they got pregnant. Now,
I agree.
Once again, let me read it again for you guys too. Women should not get government assistance just because they got pregnant.
I still agree.
Yep. Joe.
As a rule, I would agree with that.
Okay.
I'll agree.
I agree.
I also agree.
I do agree as well.
Okay. Well, good. This is the first one we agree on everybody that way. Now,
Next question.
next question. And show is done. You're going to find out, though. It's kind of interesting. You're going to find out that I guarantee that we talked about before the show is you're going to find out that the agreements can differ why people agree. So Gene, I want you to run on your statement to why you agree and give some opinions on it.
Okay, well, a little
And remember,
background
and
would
your
help.
opinions can
Yes.
be controversial and
Okay,
things like that. So
Sure. I'm a woman. Hi.
Hi.
That helps. I've been pregnant 3 times by choice after marriage. Probably in my past, I probably had a scare or 2, and I'm just like, that's on me. You know, if I'm not following, staying in the track of doing what's good for family values, that's on me. Also, I've been a government employee for
Yes, you are.
27 years.
yes, you are. Yep.
Under the federal branch of government, sorting your mail. And I've also, because my first marriage was 10 years long, my second marriage is now into 18 years, I made the choice once my new husband decided to transfer to be the parent that pays child support. So I flipped the script on the standard. So I do feel, based on my own experience, that women can pick themselves up. They can get themselves to work. They can find ways to support their child without having that. It should be a last-ditch result to do that government assistance. I mean, I've been down that road with, in between jobs and that sort of thing, and it's like, no, I don't want to be dependent. I want to be independent and only dependent by my choice in a mutual agreement, and the government isn't the way to go. And that's how I feel about it.
Nice.
Joe, what you got?
That was well articulated. I think that as a rule, no, it shouldn't automatically guarantee any kind of assistance. And for all the reasons that Gene just said, I think that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, he feeds himself for a lifetime, or woman, men in the generic big term, right? Humans, humanity. If someone is, I guess the exception, although I agree with that, if someone can take care of themselves, I'm also a believer in giving people a hand up, but it's got to be merit-based, not just blind gifting. So, I guess it'd have to be a case by case.
I'll say, give me one. Do me a favor. Give me one kind of case that way, because if people don't have government, then who do they rely on?
Well, in an ideal world, it would be family.
Okay.
It'd be friends, family, church. I mean, I think tomorrow, if we stopped every single government program out there, very few people would starve, because then families would have to step up, churches would have to step up. There's all kinds of food share there's enough help out there, but part of it is education, maybe, and maybe there's somebody that doesn't realize there is help there. So, I'd have it be merit based at first, because I hate to see, somebody. If it's a crazy exception situation, Dana's pregnant and her husband and everybody in her family gets hit by a bus. I don't want the kids to not have shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but for the rule, absolutely, it's got to be merit. It's got to be earned. And if somebody was in a situation where they had a disability and they couldn't necessarily maybe generate an income, maybe there's something else they could do to have a merit-based assistance program.
Got it. Travis.
As most of you know, I'm a believer of God and strong in my faith. So therefore, I believe in the fruits of the Spirit. And one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. So I don't believe, how do I say this? Using condoms is birth control. It's a method you use when you've lost your self-control. I think if you keep it in your pants, my dad always said this one word: if you ever have the urge to do it with a woman, slam it in the screen door. Now, I never got to that. That would hurt, but you get my point. It's
I have a story about that.
once you,
My mom does. I'm not joking. No fun. No joke.
But I'll tell you, it's. We just got to keep it in the pants. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We got to keep it in the
You
pants.
said screen door.
Yeah, screen door. Slam it in the screen door. Hopefully it wasn't rusty. But here's the deal. You know what? The second you decide to engage, like Jean said, she put herself in some situations where you could have went the other way. You know what? You are responsible for what you do. So when you're going to go dip your wick into somebody, you better be ready to receive the consequences that come with that. It's not just about getting your jollies out there. Self-control. Let's be adults. Let's be a little more mature.
You know, it's really funny. Dealing with patients a lot. I always love, or even people that are like, I don't know how I got pregnant. I'm like, well, they haven't figured out where it comes from now. You ever notice that? People are like, well, that's not what I meant. I'm like, no. It's, how can you be surprised? You know what I'm saying? If you have sex, the chance you can get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. So Dana, what you got?
Yeah, so I agreed, and mostly I agree because I think we shouldn't be doing that because I think it encourages behavior that is not of a high value American, right? I think that the government's, not the daddy of the baby, the government's not the husband, so the government doesn't need to be paying for things like that, and we probably all here don't want our tax dollars going toward, something like that. We can probably all think of better uses of our money for that. I will say, though, however, I do like the idea of like people who want to start the nonprofits that help the women in the community who are maybe single moms or they're struggling or something, and they give them a place to live and they help them go find a job and get back into the community and be a productive member of society again. I think that those are some really great things that people can choose to give money to if they want to versus the government just taking it from us. But overall, I don't think that we can just be giving people handouts all the time because it conditions people to not work and then to think that their problems will always be solved for them. And we obviously can't have that.
Mike, what you got?
It's pretty simple. I don't want the government telling me what the hell to do. And the more we allow someone to say how I'm supposed to run my family, that's one issue. Yeah. But to the root of everything, where's the government doing that? That's more of an issue stem from another problem. What are our families doing? What are our communities teaching one another? The big one would be abstinence. Why aren't we talking more about control and how to run a family instead of relying on a government assistance to know, well, in case I do fuck up, then great, I got old Benjamin in the pocket's going to fill me. That's great. We need to be, teaching our family, to be self-sufficient for ourselves and then teaching to our generations. We can't rely on that shit. Yeah. We can't.
What's really funny? Do you ever notice that that when you talk about teaching abstinence, they treat you like you're a joke? Right. You ever notice that?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's like going, oh, well, they're just, live in reality. It's like going, guys, listen, if they take away the cut. I've said this before, and yes, it's both men and women, but you look at it this way, is if you think this way, they protect the bad behavior of women.
Yep.
You saying? Because remember, women are the gateway to sex. Men are the gateway to marriage. Think of it this way: women are the gateway to sex. Because the only way that men are the gateway is by rape, and then that's obviously a horrible thing. But the idea is this: so women truly are the gateway that way. So when they all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm like, you were the gateway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that's why when we talk about abstinence, like I watch, because obviously we love politics, and somebody brings up abstinence whatsoever, it's like, oh, it's just not going to work. Well, it'll work really quickly if there's consequence. So, Kathy, what you got?
Well, I agreed. I don't think that because someone is pregnant or a woman is pregnant that she should get government aid. However, I do think that I'm more in alignment with Dana that community programs, or I just feel that people find not only pregnancy but other avenues in their life where they might be down and out a little bit and could use assistance. And I do think it needs to be merit. I do think that the way that it's structured today keeps people down, doesn't encourage them to get off of it. But I don't think because you're pregnant you deserve it by any means. But I do think that people find themselves in situations, all different kinds, throughout their life, and to have a little help sometimes isn't a bad thing.
I have a little bit more brutal comment. I didn't fucking knock you up.
Yeah.
Do you saying? I mean, I'm not joking. I'm like, I didn't knock you up. I'm not the one. I'm.
Not the daddy.
I'm living in Wisconsin. I have a 7-year-old. The reason I'm living in Wisconsin is because I have a 7-year-old. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
So, I mean, I had a daughter out of wedlock.
Yep.
And it wasn't an ideal situation, obviously, but again, it's a man takes care of his children.
Right.
So it'd be different if I got hit by a bus and there was some exceptions, crazy circumstances, but and if I got hit by a train tomorrow, my family would step up, my friends would step up, my church, my community would step up. So I I have no fear that if something happens to me, my daughter's going to be homeless.
Right.
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 Dana,
So-
this is where the real men are.
I know.
That's right.
I know it.
Well, now think of it this way: if the government has become replacement for the dad. You saying it's like
Yep.
because even if the one thing that I can't stand, and I've dealt with this, even because you see people that have insurance and things like this, it's like, oh, they make the dad pay some of it back. I'm like, fractions, pennies on that way.
Right.
So and it's an automatic. If they get pregnant, they can get Medicaid for delivery. I just sat there and going, and I was thinking about that, like it makes no sense, and I have such a hard time respecting people that way. And it's kind of funny. And I'm always hard on people like this. The Christian community that's supposed to know better, do things that way, they're the first ones to run for it. That's why I love it. It's like churches say the government shouldn't be telling us what to do in churches. What the fuck are you talking about? You run to it all the time when you need it.
Exactly.
I had a staff member that we fired last year, and guess what happens? She loved Jesus, all praise, I hate government, but the minute she got fired, she's still in unemployment right now. Do you understand? It's
Yeah,
like
that's what I have a problem
And that's
with.
why I'm
that big time.
Yeah, and I think that about a lot of government programs. So, I mean, there's a lot of places I prefer my tax dollars not to go.
Yep.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
Lowest common denominator. You
Now,
know, that's
Kathy, we can come back to you now on this. I want to come back around this way. If you were a politician, would you set up a program to make both the mother and dad pay it back?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
Very logical.
well. So in the state of Wisconsin, I paid for the birth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they couldn't find me, you know, and I was in Guam or something crazy, then yes, I mean, I think that would be a gift versus, you know, a blessing versus a handout. So I'm all for that.
Say that again, your question. If you
So
are,
let's say it does happen, and do you think that the parents should be forced to pay that money back, regardless if they're married or not?
I think in the long, I mean, not like a instant, you know, like you have X amount of time. If it's
Like a loan.
over
48
time, like
month
a
agreement.
loan,
Yeah.
like not so much
You
like
get-
a
you get-
strike
you get-
on the record.
You get 18 years to pay it back to the kids out of the house.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's here's what happens.
Not
Your
in the-
tax
Right.
your tax refund just slowly
Right, but I would
gets-
think
Slowly, yeah.
I would think the paying it back, the government would put a string on that. Because as soon as you're getting the government involved in that, it's like, well, you're going to do it this way, you're going to do it that way. Now, and I know I might be an exception among a whole bunch of exceptions.
Yep. I used to work for a government for a long time.
Right. But I was also ward of the state for 2 weeks. All my brothers and sisters are all from different parents. So I'm adopted into family. And it's a blessing. However, would the government, when we were placed, this is back in the 1960s, you were placed economically into your family. You were placed into a religious set, you know, whether you're Protestant, Lutheran, Catholic, etc. So there are all these things, Caucasian, African American, you were placed according to what your upbringing would have been. So those strings are attached. I mean, can you imagine what my life would have been like if I was adopted into a family that didn't have my ethnic background, that I might have had a fuller, broader upbringing? So the government puts those strings on that. So that would be just an example of how that could go. Things have changed over the years, of course, but back then that affects me and my brothers and my sisters and all the foster kids we took care of.
So you're basically saying less government, even in this situation, is
Right,
better.
right, because
I'm for
I mean
that.
this was
Yeah,
through
because
a-
they're still
I'm
right.
attached to it, so it's like
There's a
here's a
string.
prettier way of making it look, but by the way, look at me dangle. It's still in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take mine back saying no, there's got to be a different way, and this goes back to our communities, what we're doing for man, woman for woman together as a family, and we see it right now, and it's gone right now. So we're in the rebuild process. We're in this phase right now. It's like another adolescence that we're going through as the world goes through what it does right now, and man together, you know.
I'll tell you what, we give way too much to the government, and they have way too much power right now. They have way too many employees, and we are paying all them just to
Yes, sir.
Just to
govern
get
us,
paid.
babysit us. Leave my wallet alone and leave my guns alone. I mean, they're all at
So-
the bottom of the ocean.
So I got
I don't have any, but if you need one.
so I got
Talk to me after, okay?
so I'm gonna get into something pretty, let's say thought provoking, but another way of saying pretty divisive between men and women, probably cause some separation. Women are gonna hate me when I say this, but the idea is this: let's think about this. Who should be held or punished? Or held responsible, because if I say punished, it'd be like, because they'll think they're getting punished, so I'll say held responsible. And I got a theory on this, so I'm gonna let you go around the room on this. So I'm gonna set this up, and I always throw a little caveat. People, that makes a lot of sense. Who do you think should be held accountable more for getting pregnant, men or women, in this situation? And we're gonna start with the guys first.
Oh, fun.
And I'm gonna
the
talk
oldest?
about some at the end, because I'm gonna spin around there. For all you girls that hate me, follow me on this, because I have a little thing on this. So follow me on this, because I think you're gonna like my answer, even though right now you're not gonna like my initial answer. But who do you think should be held more responsible for getting pregnant, men or women?
It's a really good question.
Because there always has to. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's a family unit. I don't care if it's a business. There's somebody that's always has to be held more accountable for a situation.
I think from a masculine standpoint, men are supposed to provide, pursue, protect. That being said, women typically have as many. They're gonna hate me.
Let's go.
Women,
Keep going.
women, in my experience, typically have exactly the amount of children they want to have, unless there's a physical issue or there's,
Right.
I think that there's a lot of men that would love to have more children. They just don't necessarily have access.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that from that perspective, I think the female has a little more control as to how many children she's gonna have.
So let's go female. Dana, and then we're gonna Mike, and then Kathy, and then we're gonna Travis and Gene. So
Oh, it's the guy's fault because he should have pulled out. So
I mean,
no, I'm just shitting you.
Knowing you, I
Man
don't think
alive.
so.
all the girls like, yeah, and the guys like, fuck you, Dana, fuck you.
Well, none of you even reacted to that. Like, my God.
I was watching
Have
reaction.
you been videotaping?
Okay, explain.
No, that was a joke.
I know.
Oh,
Explain.
okay, thank you. No, I mean, it's pretty easy for women to get sex, right? It'd be easy for me to walk out of here and find that from most men in this city, but it's really hard for men to actually get. They have to actually work for it. So it's pretty easy for women to just give it away. So maybe if we just hold up a little bit more, we won't have these problems.
Mike, wait, let's go, Mike, and then we're gonna allow you his comment. So just gonna be a good thought provoker, because I got something too. So Mike would think.
The easy answer would be equal. But
We're not equal.
But
We're
we're
not
not going to
equal.
play that
That's
game
right.
here.
Thank you,
I
Mike.
knew I was going down a path here. So, with that being said, I mean, the woman is the door that's locked. The man is the key. I mean, you could look at it from that way, what the hell's going to unlock it? But in the end, the woman has the final say. And with that, that's granting the responsibility, the consequences, and everything that comes with it. But going back, what Joe said, as a man, you want to try to be there, help provide, nurture is going to be the woman's job. But in the end, it's the woman gives the final say.
true, but what
Right.
if you go, hey, Dana, does this smell like chloroform to you?
There's the exception.
There's actually
I hope
Kathy.
that's an exception.
That'll get you 7 to 12.
That's right.
Minimum.
I don't know if I
Not
understood
kids,
the
7,
Yeah,
12
no,
years.
no.
Hi,
Was
Kathy.
it,
Be getting something else.
was it who's responsible for ending up pregnant?
Nope.
Or?
Who's responsible? Oh, so let's say that we have to put blame on somebody.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why I said I want to get downright wrong. So who do you blame more, the women or the men?
Oh, I think that women are going to hate me.
See?
I think that women, because we have the ability to take contraception or whatever,
Yep.
so we can require a man to have or rubber, whatever,
Yep.
but we can control that, and so more than they don't know.
You know what's really funny?
So
It was our generation that called them rubbers.
rubbers.
Isn't that funny? It's
Is
like
that
it was
like-
kind of
There
hilarious.
you
They called
go.
condoms like condom
Yeah,
rubber.
what's
You know what I'm saying? It's like all right, anyway, Gene, and then I'm gonna say a couple things. So it's got Travis.
Well, I'm going to just use a story. It's Samson and Delilah. She was kind of slutty, and he caved in. But he had the key, and she wanted the key. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the woman does have the final say. So Yeah, that's talking. In
So
the rules.
I want you guys to answer. Who do you blame, man or woman?
The ladies.
Okay, Gene.
All right. The woman in this culture and in times past should always have the say. Now, if you're talking about common exceptions, women can be easily manipulated. That doesn't mean the man's to blame. The women, us ladies, need to know we're in that situation where, oh, I think I'm being manipulated. I think my red flag should be going up, and I need to practice that word that I, as a child, I wasn't allowed to use. No. No.
Yep.
And if the guy's not going to respect you, he's out.
Yes.
But it takes work. It takes practice.
Well, so
So-
here's my statement. I think we're going to gain some of the women's respect back from what I say here. Is the fact this way? I totally blame women, because you know what happens? This women legitimately are the gateways to sex. They are. They really are. It doesn't happen without force unless they approve of it. Do you understand? And it's not like it's a, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm pregnant. Do you understand, kind of thing? Now, but here's where I'm going to get the respect back from the women. I can honestly tell you, women are the gateways to sex, but men are the gateway to marriage. So if your marriage goes bad, I blame the man,
That's fair.
Yeah.
because they set the tone for that. And they can choose not to marry that woman. And if they choose to choose, then guess what happens? They have the greatest ability to make that marriage great, more than the woman does. So I'm going to hold women accountable for getting knocked up, and I'm going to hold men accountable for shitty marriages and stuff like that.
Can I ask you something to make the girls like me again?
Okay, good.
I stand by my statement. It's all good. I was just messing around.
Oh. So that's why, because there has to be a certain responsibility for everything. You know, I had a recent thing happen. It's not a joke. I had a doctor that we ended up firing, and found out that he was, you know, not taking care of patients properly. And I was literally gone down, where was I? Florida. That's right. You were there, weren't you? I was down in Florida, and I found out about it. And I had my team call up the patients that had a very bad experience with the doctor. Now, I could by nature just say, well, it was the doctor's fault, thing of that. I'm like, no. They walked into one of my offices, and I personally reimbursed them for all their care, all their costs, and because I'm the ultimately responsible. This is my company. I'm ultimately responsible. That doctor was still chosen. Well, he was chosen by my team. I'm still responsible because I'm the gateway to the company. I'm the one that makes decisions. I'm the one that represents everything that way and stuff. And so I held myself accountable for it that way. And I think, you know, that's why it's kind of funny when women come to me and they're like, well, I need help. Why? You could have said no. And see, they don't want to talk in reality. It's like, well, you can't really. What do you mean you can't do that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it equates everything. If you're not that disciplined for that, well, are you going to be disciplined to even not eat all the sugar and end up fat later either? Do you know what I'm saying?
Discipline.
If we would honestly just bring back self-control, teach that in the house, in the parents' house. I mean, the parents should teach their kids how to live their lives with self-control. You know, now this culture tells you to do whatever feels good. You know, I don't care how in the mood I am. I'm sorry, but you see some of the stuff on TV nowadays, like Cardi B. It's like, just give me a puke bucket. Are you kidding me? It's just disgusting. It's horrible. And that's what we're feeding everybody. So there is no self-control anymore. It's all about do whatever feels right. Do you know where that comes from, by the way? Look it up. Don't take my word for it. It comes from the Satanic Bible. Do whatever feels right. And we live by that in this whole nation. And you wonder why. I'm sorry to keep going biblical, but it's the truth. Everything comes down to that.
Yep.
We hate God, but we want order. You can't have both. And this is why we're all screwed up.
Well, there's an old saying, take God out of something, the devil shows up really fast.
Yep.
You
Sure
saying?
did.
And Joe, you made a comment that I want to run on that way, and I want to get your opinion on this. If you think about this, is you know, people don't understand the history of how government got involved in so many things. Look at the Catholic religion history. You know, if you ever think about this, if you look at our history of our government, charity and churches were heavily involved in communities, and if there was something wrong, one of the first things you run to is your church when there was a problem. But Catholic Church got sick of them handing out gold because they throw it to the Vatican instead of actually the people. You saying, sorry, people realize how rich the Vatican still is this day.
Right.
I'm like, sell all that shit off and all the gold and the things and start giving to real people that way. I mean, you have to be a special kind of stupid. You really do to really believe in that stuff. I'm not saying faith. I'm saying in such an organized religion that has gold-plated shit and stuff like that, and think you're still going to give them money. I mean, I was dumb enough that I've given a ton of money to churches that way. I'm like going, man, and I said I was wrapped up in that stupid shit too. And now I give it to really, really, really good organizations that have direct effects to people's lives. But think about this. It's like, we talk about this. It's like, it was actually religious leaders that went to the government to get the women and stuff off their backs. Think about that. That's kind of scary if you think about it that way. It's like,
That's weak sauce.
well, that's why I love when pastors of today say, the government should be separated with churches. I'm going, that's not true. You guys involved them. You don't need the government to get married. It's actually based on a
Fact.
religious thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't at all. But see, what happens is, but what it does, it allows that what happens is because we are as guys, and I'll say guys, if you get divorced, instead of actually taking care of that family, they could just walk away. And if there's no government to force them to take care of it, a lot of people walked away. And that's what it was based on, taking care. Remember, all they say, the church goes, the government says, well, these guys are not taking responsibility, so you got to step in. You say, and because it used to be, something happened, you went to your church. And can you imagine going to churches today for help? Yes, I know we're going to hear about one exception of the rule, but the majority of churches will never help you out.
Well, it's religion. It's not God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, and because once again, just like when it comes to dependency that way, a church has just became nothing more than a small business.
Right.
And they want to become a big business.
Right.
You say, and it's like, and they need more things and stuff like that. And then they emotionally, they talk about emotionally. That's why if you ever look at it this way, more women go to church than men, because women are easily more manipulated. Man, I could manipulate really easy. I could start church. It's really funny. All you have to do, I tell these young Christian girls, they're so easy manipulated because all you have to do as a boy, say God every 3 words, and they think you're exactly. He just loved Jesus. I'm like, does he make any money? No. Dump his ass. You understand?
And that is
Yeah.
why I left the church in my childhood in my 30s or 40s. I don't even remember, because I got involved in one of the ministries and got a deep dive look at their intentions in building attendance. And it's like, this is crooked. This is not how this is supposed to be. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known unless I took that dive in to get that closer look.
I would say there's only been one service I've ever been to that I truly felt like it was a church. And I used to, when I was young in my career, I used to travel on to different Amish communities. And what ended up happening was one time I stayed overnight at the Amish place, and then they were such great hosts that way, and they had church service next morning. And what they do is they rotate their churches. No pastor gets paid. And actually what happens is, and at the end, everybody brings a dish and they celebrate and have a dinner, a lunch
Like
together,
lunch
potluck
together.
together that way. And that happens every Sunday. And they have a great community and stuff like that. And it's like, and that's why it's kind of funny. But all the pastors have full-time jobs and 15 kids and stuff like that. And it's like, actually I knew a 30-year-old that had 13 kids, just to let you know that. She got pregnant at 18 and she had a kid every single year. And she actually asked me to say, how do I not get pregnant? I'm like, do I really have to have this conversation with you and your husband? And stuff
She was
like
an
that.
old pro.
And, it was like, but what happens is this. And what they did, it was like, and then you know what they did next following week? It was at somebody else's place, and they brought the pews in to every place. It was basically benches, and they had it in their basements, and people show up, and it was just, and the host was also the pastor that day, and there was another one. It was great. And it was actually like going, oh my goodness, if you think this way. And then if something happened, the whole community pulled together and helped them out and stuff like that. And I'm like going, and I'm like, that to me is community assistance and things like that. And what's that rule? You said there's only 142 people. What was that?
Dunbar's rule.
Explain.
So yeah, I should just explain this like every time. So Dunbar's rule, or Dunbar's number, I guess is what it's called, but it's around like 150, and it's just a theory. It hasn't necessarily been tested or anything like that. But if you take a community, like they say that the perfect community size is about 150 people, and that's because that's big enough so that you are sufficient and you have everything you need, and there's enough of you and everything, but it's also small enough so that you know all the people, you know them well, and when you know people well, you don't wrong them. So that's like the perfect size for people.
Yeah, with the churches, my biggest frustration, especially with previous churches, not so much one I'm at now, but the level one talk. And I know that you guys know what I mean by that, but level one talk is just like, hey, how you doing? How
yeah.
about them Packers? How about the weather, huh? You know, how about the weather? How's it
fake.
going? You know, and it's fake. It's you're there because you want to grow. You're hurting. You know, there's something on your mind and heart. No one wants to deep or dig down. And I got really sick and tired of going to church to pretend, and that gave me anxiety. That gave me anxiety. But you know, there are churches out there. I believe my wife and I have a good one where you can talk. You have people you can talk to. And I've done it numerous times. But I'll tell you what, in general, I mean, I can't stand it. I don't, Doc, you've been around me more than most people. And you know, I goof a lot, but I don't, when we talk, we dig. We don't just sit and talk. I don't think I've ever once talked about the weather with you. But you know what? You go to church and that's all you get. Weather talk and everything's great. I'm great. My job's great. My wife's great. Everything's great. I'm like, no, okay.
Great.
Yeah.
The church that I grew up in, actually, well, my parents still go there, but there were about normally like 100 or 120 people there. So I grew up in actually like that small community of people who knew a lot about what was going on inside of every family and did come together to, you know, help each other and stuff. And my parents got some of that help too when they needed it. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about that number that's, you know, that was probably right, because I didn't really see. I grew up in this really, really small, like, these are the purest people you have probably ever met. Like, even still, I go back and I'm like, how are you so joyful, like, all the time? I don't even know. But I grew up in this really, really small, like, loving church. And so it was news to me when I got older that there were these, like, even big mega churches that even existed, or that church was a business that needed to be run. You know, that was, I don't know, it's wild.
What kind of car did the pastor drive?
At the church I grew up in is something rusty and old.
So that's my point. It's hard for me to.
Yeah.
It's like this. I look at a church like United Way. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Where in fact it's like, it's public record, like 94% of United Way money goes towards administration and private jets and stuff like that.
Right.
And then they show that on TV that they're doing something for some mentally retarded child, and it's like, and everyone's like, oh, look at that. I'm like going, emotional manipulation.
Right.
You understand? And women are more, this is the thing, and let's talk about this. Women are more emotionally manipulated than men ever are, unless the boys are raised by their mama. Agree or disagree there, Jean?
I agree. Now, given my situation where I moved out of state when my son was probably 5, I felt really good about that decision, because this is the time where mama doesn't need to be there anymore and dad is his influence. Now, of course, I divorced the dad for a reason, but at least he's got the masculine influence. He's got other people around him. He's got a neighborhood of people. And, you know, my kids came to see me during the breaks in school and everything. But I really feel that's important for those boys to attach to their dad. People now look at him and say, well, you remind me of your dad. I'm like, well, careful what you say. You know, there's good things and bad things about that, but at least they see him as a young man. And that's important.
Right.
What was the question again? Because
I was going to be
quick.
having
Yeah.
It's quick.
Because I'm still stuck on. I mean, to go back to churches.
Church.
Churches.
Go for it.
Go
Go for it. Go ahead.
Whatever you want.
Is what if every church in America did church like Jesus lived and like Jesus did church? Then we'd have a powerful thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Mic
be.
drop.
It wouldn't be walls and 1099s
Yep.
and all the
Worried about
bullshit.
talking about losing your tax exempt
Yeah.
status
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
You know, and what if we actually did church like Jesus did church? What a
Yep.
world.
Arguably the best sermon is on the what? The mound. Ain't no walls there. Just a big old rock.
Yeah, that's why I think the modern day church is just a scam anyways.
Yeah.
And I've sat on a board of a church that once again, and I sat there and I looked at the pastor, who his son, and then his the assistant pastor's son-in-law. And I looked at him. I said, my exact words in the church board meeting. That's why I came home. I said, I'm done with this. I said, I wouldn't let 2 of these fucking pastors change my garbage in my company. Do you understand? And it's like getting paid 6 figures to show up on a Sunday. And one of the jokes were, well, he just shows up, play guitar on Sunday, and it was accepted. And then people would still go there and still give them tithing, acting like, and you hear this dumb shit. Sorry, Christians, don't say this dumb shit to me. Well, I have to be a joyful giver, and what they do is up to God and stuff like that. I'm not, they'll go.
Wrong.
No, you're a dumb shit by falling for that stuff, and you're just as dumb.
I got some land in Iowa. It's beautiful.
That's right.
I think
Hey, I lived in Iowa for 3.5 years.
Yeah, where?
That's it. Davenport.
a fun thought would be, what if that person who was upset about it, or like saw that person getting paid that amount of money playing guitar? What if they were a better guitar player and would they get the same money and the same treatment?
Not I don't see them on Guns N' Roses. You know what I'm saying? In the band. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Guns N' Roses pays a little more than
Yeah, exactly. Well, because that's capitalism.
right.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Capitalism is thank you, and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah. So that's the fun part. So, boy, we got.
I'm sorry.
So hit
Went
him
back
with
to
that
the-
question.
Yeah, so,
Oh wait, what was my question? What
and
I
what
ask
was
you?
the original thing?
Manipulated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
women
and I was
are-
gonna, when you brought this up too, is so I heard this. I don't know. I hear things and they just get stuck in my brain. Men are salesmen
Okay.
and women are marketers. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And so,
But marketing to who though? Because here, watch this. Their emotional marketing really wouldn't appeal to a real man.
no, it's attention.
Yeah.
It's look at this, look at this, look at this, and then the guy shows up. I mean, I don't think any guy's putting out content on social media expecting to get DMs,
Right.
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 right? But there's a lot of women that may or may not be in a healthy, successful relationship that are still putting
Blowjob content out and getting some DMs.
And,
yeah,
and
no,
then
I
they're
know.
like, hey, look at
I
that.
know.
Shocker.
Wow.
What's a DM?
Direct message, I think is what I said.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, I never.
I
heard that
don't-
Before.
I still write everything down. So,
Obviously,
You know.
I don't.
yeah, you're not sending any DMs. Yeah. You're doing something right.
He only sends DPs.
That's right.
That's
Sarah.
right up your alley.
Just
Yeah.
there you go.
No.
Is it
no.
Tuesday already?
Dr. Patrick?
Yes, Dr. Patrick. See, what are you thinking? What do you got, Mike? Come on, Mike.
Look at Dr. Patrick.
Right, see?
That's attached.
That's actually what I thought you meant it first.
So think about this. So he said, so I want to run the thing. So they're saying women are marketers, but they're really marketing to other women. Because do you understand the majority of consumption? People don't realize this. The majority of consumption is women. The majority of debt is women. That's why all these women are like, we are dominating colleges. Yes, and you're fucking broke when you're done, and you have all the debt. People are talking. Do you understand? People are talking about all the school debt. Women created it because they created all these dumb degrees that can never pay their shit off.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is lesbian dance bad?
It's a statistic. It's like going.
It's like
you go to
70%.
Marquette
It is.
University in Wisconsin, and they got lesbian dance study.
Yeah.
And
And they're paying $40,000 a year to go there.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
like going. My
That's going to
goodness.
recoup an
I
investment.
mean, it got me my job here.
lesbian dance.
Interpretive lesbian dance. That's right. That's what did.
And now I'll perform on the table.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Lotus.
Well,
No, I heard a study on that similar to that, and they were talking about women that went into law school.
Yep.
And the amount of debt that they incurred, and that's cool that women are going to law school. More women get accepted into law school than men, and that's awesome. But then it said, let's look 10 years later. They're 32. They're now a partner, and they want to marry or be in a relationship with someone that makes more than them. And there's some of the saddest people on the
Yeah.
earth. The highest suicide rates. So it's like,
They forewent their
No.
baby having ages. For
yeah.
the
What
most part, their
what
best
game do you want to
ones.
play? If you want to play that game,
so
then you
watch
play
this.
that game.
I think I got a good game. Kathy, how old is you and Kelly's oldest?
34.
34. So you were married, professional. You didn't give up your youthful years to just change career. You did both, didn't you?
Yeah, and actually, when I started, in healthcare, I was a surgical tech at that time.
Yep.
And so, it wasn't really, it was a career, but not like women have careers today.
Right.
But yeah, no, I didn't know I wanted to be a mom until I was one.
Right.
And
Same here.
then
Right.
it was the best thing. So yeah, no.
Well, and that's the thing. But see, I believe that women can achieve it successfully as long as they understand that there's a trade-off. You
Yeah.
saying it's like there's a trade-off. The one thing about there's emotional trade-offs that women have to go through that men do not. And see that's why I think it's so easy for. I think that's why I said I know a lot of people sometimes think I'm hard on women. I'm not hard on women. I'm hard on women that think they can enter society and be like a man. And then we can't compete and tell him to shut up, because if Mike and I were in business and I sat down and told him to shut up and I was the leader, he'd be like, okay, you can't talk to the women. No, women, you enter society, you are asexual now, because it takes masculine traits for you to succeed in society. It doesn't take masculine traits for you to succeed at home. Actually, you won't succeed at home if that happens. You know what I'm saying? It's totally opposite.
Right.
And just to back up your statement, I've worked here now for over 2 years, and you definitely treat men differently than women. You protect women. You understand they can only handle so much before they start getting sick.
Yep.
You don't treat me that way.
Yep.
You hold me accountable, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
The bar high.
I
Exactly.
embrace
The bar
that.
high.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I said, that's why I think that I will say this. So let's spin this a little bit. And I can even look back at my personal history or anybody this way, that if the man doesn't do what he's supposed to do, the marriage will fall apart. See, I think women are very, very easily pleased if the man's a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so therefore, that's why I said, women, I'm going to blame you for getting knocked up and I don't want to pay for your shit. But on the flip side, guys, if you end up doing something wrong or your wife leaves you, I will side with the woman that the guy's probably a douchebag a little bit somehow. You saying? And because if a man straightens out, they become very attractive to a woman, and a woman can forgive much easier than a man can.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true.
They're meant to they're meant to put up more shit than we do.
Yeah.
You saying?
Papers, all that.
Kids.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's so men, I'm gonna hold you accountable for marriages, and women I hold accountable for the shit that happens in pregnancy and stuff like that. And it's like, so because remember, there's gotta be somebody responsible for something. You know what I'm saying? And we are not, no matter how good looking you are, we're not the gateways to sex. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't happen and stuff. So
I'm the exception.
yeah, there's exceptions to the rule.
Why are you laughing, man?
I'm sure.
That's how we bonded.
No, we did. High five.
Yes.
There's two of us.
Well,
Oh, dear.
but you want something? Give me. Let's talk about this for a second. If you're 20 years old and muscular and in college, that's probably true. But if you're 40 years old, muscular, good looking, and broke, you're getting less ass. Do you
I
understand?
agree.
Yeah.
It really is true. You know, it really,
Guaranteed.
yeah. See, a guy has to add value to society to have any kind of chance with anything.
With
saying?
what? With all women demographics? Or
All here, watch this.
So even younger, even the 18 to 24.
As far as what?
Like if a muscular
Yep.
40-year-old male, but doesn't have a lot of money, gets less ass from 18 to 24, you think?
Well, because this way is here. Watch this. If you're a woman that's out of her prime, okay, we're making fun of Dana right now, so it's
Not out of my prime though.
Oh, that's not
I got a good 10 years. I got 10 years left.
it's kind of funny. It's a whole
Well,
other
you got
thing. We'll
more
talk about
years
that
than
one
that,
time.
believe me.
No, but if this way,
True.
if you're watch this.
Rounding down.
If you're a woman who, for example, okay, let's do this. Let's come back to this, and because as we create the podcast, we're going to create some things for people to follow. Okay, and there's 3 things that I say really appeal as a man. Okay, it's your mind, muscle, and money.
Good, I'm
It's
glad you're
very,
going there.
I commented this to Christy. I think it was last night, Christy. I said, I see you on something. Kelly's in the gym back there hitting it. He's older than I am. He's got a great body. Do you understand? He's in his 50s. He bikes like crazy. He's got that biker ass. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm a confident man, so I don't care about his biker.
He's
I
50.
Guarantee
that's not a 50-year-old ass.
I thought he was
guarantee you he's got-
137.
I guarantee you he's got low debt. I guarantee
Yeah.
you he's got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Because if you're 55 and you're doing that, you have discipline.
That's the thing. And so what happens is this. So therefore he can still, so because women look and go, you got your mind, your muscle, and money together. Okay. Watch this. If you're 40-year-old woman and you keep the 3 things that men value, well, you dominate, and money's not one of them.
Right.
No one goes, man, she's 40 years old, she got money, I'm running after her. No, sexy, serene, and supportive.
Supportive.
You saying? And I'll tell you right now, I think the biggest one, in my opinion, and let's get an opinion from the guys here. I still think supportive for a high value man. Supportive is probably the biggest, sexiest thing.
Peace.
Yes.
Right.
Peace and respect.
Right.
Yes.
Not combative.
It's true because the woman, I've obviously changed roles recently, and if Sarah was not supportive of me, she would whine me all the way back to poverty.
Right.
And we don't want that. We want to just keep moving forward, keep moving, hitting our goals and dreams. And to do that, you have to work hard.
Yep.
but you also need a supportive wife that's going to do that.
I want to see if you guys get this right. I do this as a Socratic way of teaching that way because I'm very big on definitions of things that way. Because people always say, I know it's big out there now, man want respect. I'm like, okay, what's respect? You understand that most men don't understand the definition of respect. And I'll show you why women fuck guys they respect, not the guys they like. Let me show you why. Okay? So think of it this way. What is actually the true definition of respect? It's actually based on one word. What is it? Mike, what do you think it is? I'm going to ask the guys first. And I find out that but now when I define it, it makes sense to them, but you're going to find out that most guys don't even know, I want respect. Do you know what that really means? And then we do, it's like, okay, because there's an attribute that women can take and they can win that guy like crazy. So what do you think respect definition is?
I would go with loyalty.
Okay.
I'd probably say something in the submission realm.
Okay.
Fear.
Okay. Actually, true definition is admiration. Because watch this. You can see in a woman's eyes if she admires that man. Because she's looking at him in a little bit of awe, and that's why she wants to fuck him. Do you understand? It's like, it's really true. It's like, well, I like this guy. Well, who cares? You like him, then you're not going to screw him. Do you understand? Right. It's like there's an admiration to it that way, and that's why you can see what happens, and that's why men want respect. But men will be around guys that they find that admire them too. You understand? So guys like when men respect them, but guys really like when women respect them. Do you understand? And so it's like, and so that was like it's really true because you can look at it this way because I want respect. What does it mean? They want to be admired. They do. That's what I'm saying. They want to be admired. But let's flip it around now. Let's flip it around. I do feel my oldest daughter married a great young high value man. So therefore the culture of today is not producing those high value men. And so I feel bad for the women because why would you want to admire him? He's a piece of shit.
So what would you do if you had a 7-year-old and you know what I mean?
A 7-year-old
A 7-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Because
I have a 10-year-old.
That scares the shit out of me. It's like, okay, where are all the providers going to be? The protectors.
I can answer that question for you. By knowing you and Mike, I can answer that question to you. Because here's what happens. You know how my daughter found her husband? He'd been trained by me for years. Yeah. And what happens is this, and then they by nature become that way. And so me and Travis and the guys around here, I would tell people, I said, girls, you want to find a good guy, get a wellness way guy. Because if they're around me long enough, around him long enough, around my top value guys long enough, they're going to become it.
Yep.
So your daughter, you may start having a, I can honestly tell you this. I can tell you there's, she was on the show, Dana and Clint Spetcher. Looking forward to Hawaii with you guys. And it's really funny is this, is Trinity is, we don't let our daughters date till they're 18 and stuff like that because I don't want to get in trouble and stuff like that. I try to explain that in a minute. But the idea is this, because of how he is as a guy and he's around me and becomes like this, and it's kind of cool. And then the way Dana is that way, it's like going, now their son, guess what happens?
Osmosis.
And then by nature, it's like Trinity finds their son attractive. Well, no shit. Do you understand? It's like, so you're gonna create that culture. Yep. That's like, you think I'm joking? I deal with the Amish a lot.
So do I.
I see why they have no problem that these 17, 18-year-old girls they're literally just looking for a mate. They know that the son of this family, that they're gonna be provided for, take care of, because that culture keeps that going that way. So I don't worry about my daughters finding a guy that way because you're gonna, that's why I said who they hang out with, they're gonna just by nature be attracted to those kind of guys.
Fair enough. No, it's good.
You're already taken care of because we already figured that our kid,
Yeah,
we already arranged
marriage.
So it's fine.
Yeah,
you don't need to worry.
It's all good.
We've said that, Chris and I said that before about arranged marriage and stuff like that. It's like going, but do you understand if you look at the history, arranged marriages have a huge success.
They work.
Yeah, they do.
It's like 92%.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Because if women by nature choose stuff on emotions, they make very piss poor decisions. They do. It's like, he's cute. He's like, it's like he's a Christian. Oh, fuck that shit. You understand?
I saw in Coming to America, the arranged marriage didn't work with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
There's the exception.
There's always one.
Yeah.
Good
There
movie,
is
by
the
the way.
exception because he took a submissive woman and passed up for a combative one. Not real life. They're going to end up in a divorce.
Especially when he's already a multimillionaire.
That's right.
He wants to
Like
fight
going-
every single day when he gets home.
Yes, because when everybody watched that Sorry Women, when everybody watched it Coming to America, and he's like, bark like a dog, she goes, "Arr," and every guy's going, oh yes, oh yes, thank you. Where do I'm going to Zimbabwe, or wherever the hell that was.
Let's go.
That's right. Because of submissive. You know what I'm saying? It's like, What was our topic now?
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Women are
says
emotional and can be
Welcome to squirrels.
manipulated.
That's right. So
where
yeah,
you were.
so
That's
so
where
you
were.
said yes. So the thing about women being manipulated and stuff. Agree or disagree?
Women get manipulated easier?
Yes.
Is that absolutely.
Yeah. Obviously.
I'm in the trench on this right now. Can I further explain myself?
That's the whole idea. Go.
It's weird because it goes back to what you're talking about, who you were raised by. So this is more of an exception.
Happy you said that.
Right.
So, with that being said, stay-at-home mom. Dad always worked most of the time. Would get home at 6 late. Now, don't get me wrong. He'd come to a game here or there to watch me, but I'm a huge mama's boy. End of story. I had a mother who would do everything for me, take care of the laundry, even clean my room. So there was a lot of traits that I had to learn, as I got older. So for me, when a female, go ahead.
Can I make a comment? And I'm going to relate to myself too. Do you know who gets punished the most by that happening?
Me.
The women we choose.
Ooh. That's deep.
Sorry, Amberly, if you're watching this.
No, being very serious.
Sure.
It's really true because if your dad is not coming home and really speaking into life that way, you're going to bond to your mom and you're going to take on some of those characteristics, and then you have to work your shit out. And the sad part is the person that's going to get the most punishment is the women you choose, because you're not going to have certain those male, and from a look standpoint, you're a big studly guy, but then those traits, that mind. And I'm speaking. Remember, as I said, I'm not just talking. I'm talking myself too. Do you say And I think about that, and that's why I'm so hard on the men around me, going, because if you do what I did today, then the woman in your life is going to be punished the most, and because she's really married for potential and things like that, and then you got to work your shit out, and that's what I said. That's why they're made to put up with more shit than we ever do.
Yeah.
Thank God, right?
That's all you got me, buddy.
No, but it's really true.
No,
here's the
honestly,
thing,
just-
like you said too, I had to work my shit out.
Yeah.
Early in my 20s, I'm like, wow, I really don't do shit. I don't provide this.
Yep.
I'm like, but in the back end, even though like my dad would come home late and stuff like that, I knew what he was doing for my family. So the work ethic portion, I'm a hard
Absolutely.
damn worker.
Right.
Absolutely.
But that stuff inside the family, the home, and things like that, I had to work on that shit.
And I want to run this point. I want Kathy's thoughts first before we go on. And I think that we have to, as a culture, and this is my own personal opinion, but Kathy, we're going to finish on the point about being manipulated. Then you're going to start with this point too. Is I think that what happens is we give dads too much of a pass just because they're working all the time. Because here's what happens: when I chose to get married, there's a reason why I wore a tux, the same thing I'll wear as a funeral, because there's parts you remember. Do you ever notice that what a man wears for a wedding and a man wears for a funeral is the same? Because there's two things. There's things that are supposed to die when you get married. And there's things supposed to die when you die. You know what I'm saying? For example, those childish ways, those things. That's why men said they're giving up something. Like, you're not giving up something. You're choosing to get married, and so therefore, what happens now is you have to now move into certain things. And I think what happens is I think other men give men a pass, because here's what happens: this. Let's say, and here's what happens. Were you always in shape? Did you always work out?
Not until the end of high school.
Okay, but think about it this way. There's a lot of times that we see this a lot. There's guys that'll work out like crazy, and they'll look great, but their mind sucks and they're fucking broke. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying? And no woman they may look at them first and have that attraction, but then if they're with them, stress is there. Like, I don't give a shit what your body looks like. Do you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, if all you have is money and your mind sucks and you're fat, do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm going, I see. I that's why I say men have to be the most well-rounded of all within a relationship, because what they affect. And I think that we give our dads, and I know it sounds weird, but I mean, it's hard. We have to train up the next generation. I think we give our parents, our dads, a little too much, leeway to say, listen, well, he worked all the time. Yeah, but he also chose to have you, so therefore he has to naturally invest in you, even if it's weekly, an hour. Yep. Because how much time, as I can tell you're mentoring Mike, how much time do you really need to put into him to keep on the right track?
A couple hours a week.
That's the point. Not that much.
Yeah.
So your dad can work 5 days a week. He can be gone Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, don't sit and fucking watch TV and say, well, I worked all week. You chose to have me. I didn't get asked to be brought into this world. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, so Kathy started. So
That's
started. No, but I'm thinking about.
That's
But
awesome.
this is the stuff where because I
Right.
want my. I don't. I instead because I think that we give passes where we shouldn't be, because then we're not changing the mistakes of people of history.
Providing isn't enough, is what basically you're saying. You know what I mean? I love it.
A man has to have more than
You
that.
gotta, yeah.
So Kathy, go back to manipulate and go back to those thoughts of the fact that like given the past, like because if Kelly all he does, because you know here's what happens, because what you hear this all the time. Well, I bring home the bacon. All right, that's one of three things. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's go to the manipulation part of women, and let's go to the aspect of giving guys a pass just for the one of the three things.
All right. So, women and manipulation, I would say I agree with that. But I think it's by design, right? Because how can women be supportive and serene if they aren't easily emotionally connected to something? So, I think
Good
for
one.
a lot of years that gets a negative connotation, and I don't think it is. I think it's a good thing for a woman to be emotional
Yes.
in the right situation, and that's how they can be serene and supportive.
What do you think? And Kathy, I want to get your answer on this. Being a woman of success from not only a business standpoint but also a marriage standpoint, is, do you think that emotional aspect is good? I think it's fantastic. You said for the home, but do you think it's good for society?
I do think it's good for society. I don't necessarily think it's good in certain business situations or.
Let me ask you this question. I might want to go this way, but here's what happens. The Democrat Party mainly is made up of what?
Women.
What kind of women?
Go ahead.
Women
study
I don't like. I don't know.
Exactly. Because you are responsible and things like that. And what happens is you have irresponsible, and they actually did studies on this. They actually, the more ugly you are, the more chance you become a Democrat. They studied this. Okay. Because why? Because they're not getting supported by a guy, and you have a wonderful man, and you have a great guy. And so what happens is so therefore all I have to do is emotionally manipulate you to vote a certain way. You understand? And that's why I'm like going, and that's why I believe those characteristics don't well work in society, because if you ever think of it this way, we're gonna end up in a presidential debate in the next year.
Right.
And I'm sorry, every one of us sit here and agree, you know something, we shouldn't be paying women to do this stuff for assistance that way. But then you're gonna get the guy on there that says, do you know, this woman's just suffering so badly. And I'm like going, and as a guy, I'm like going, I don't give a fuck, let her suffer.
Yeah.
And the majority of guys think that way, but I'm willing to say it, and then the guys get behind. Remember, it only takes one person to start thinking that way. I'm going, fuck the girl. Because you know what's really funny? I want you to think about this, and I've been really thinking about this a lot. How many of you guys truly, and be honest, and I know your faith and things like that, and we have the same faith, but I know your heart for even people and things that you actually care more about people than I do. And so that, because I have more experience
I
than you do.
agree.
I have more experience. You'll learn, okay? But here happens this. But here's the point. How many of you guys ship some money over to third world countries or Africa or Cuba because there's kids that died of starvation, dehydration, shit like this? You guys didn't give a shit because I didn't see you guys do it that way. And for the one person that does, the exception, not the rule. But here's the point. You take your circle. Here's what happens this. The closer that you are to somebody, the more you care about their life. And that's why I said, with my family, I'm a communist. I want to take care of my family. My family doesn't just mean my immediate family. That means people that I live life with. My closest people, I'm a Democrat. Let's do it together. I'll even help you. You know what I'm saying? With my community, I'm a Republican because there's self-responsibility for us to be in community together. And with the world, I'm a libertarian. Like, you do your shit, I'll do mine. Stay out of my business. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I think, for example, that the minute that emotions are brought into that, they try to take a society that should be libertarian, which going, and go, you know something, but there's starving people in Ukraine because of the war. Fuck the people in Ukraine. I don't give a shit about you in Ukraine. Nope. I don't even give a shit if any of you guys' grandma dies tonight. You know something? I don't, because you know why? Grandma's not involved in my life. Because the farther you get out from your circle, the less you really care. And no one of you guys are going to care if my dad dies tonight. You'll be like, oh, sorry for you, but you won't. You're still going to do everything you do.
Connection.
That's the point.
Well, right. Life goes on. I mean, the world turns. So.
Yes. But see, we have to have that thing. So that's why when people say, you have to put on a mask because my grandma. Fuck your grandma. grandma doesn't pay my bills, and if I can't go to work and pay my bills, don't give a shit. And it's women that's why COVID, all you had to do is manipulate women for it. Or you had to manipulate soy boy boys.
Soy latte pussified beta males.
Thank you,
That
Dana.
is.
That one.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
Probably a
oh,
minute.
not long.
Enough said.
She's pretty
Rolls off
witty.
the tongue. We're gonna make some merch out of it too.
Merch.
Now watch this, and Kathy, I
merch
wanted to ask you this. I told Kelly this because
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
kind of cool. Would you agree? And I know a lot about this because I ask Kelly a lot of questions. So
Oh, my
if you lied to me, there we go. No. So let me say a question because you have been, let's say, successful in your career.
Yes.
So have you, Gene. So have you, Dana. Okay? But your career involves society. For you to be successful, the traits that you had to do in success, were they more feminine or were they more masculine? And I'm going to start with Dana. Which one do you think it is?
More masculine.
Gene, what do you think?
Definitely masculine.
Masculine.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And there's not manipulation. There's not emotion. It's like what happened is this, it's competitiveness. Would you agree with me that you beat people out for your job because of your work ethic and competitiveness and stuff like that? And even though women don't want to call it competitive, but you beat those other people. You beat that both males and females. Do you follow me in that? And see that's why. And see that's what I'm trying to get there. Go. But on the flip side, if you and Kelly were competitive at home, it's a bad day.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard on the kids. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever.
That's what you want.
Would you agree with me on that, guys?
Yeah.
You saying? So now, Kelly, so now we're gonna come around this way. I want to go back to this, and this is mine. Now remember, I want you to say I disagree, agree, and if you agree, explain a little bit. If you disagree, once again, I think that we can learn from history. I love history. Okay, I love history. I'm obsessed with it because there's an old saying that history doesn't repeat itself, but it mirrors it a little bit. Just like COVID was like the fucking Nazis and all shit like that, and people fell for it. Okay, but here's the thing I want to think about this: is if you think about our dads, okay, and they're young, we having a child is still a choice. You know what I'm saying? Because you never fall over and your dick gets in her. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the weirdest mistake on the planet.
Oh, I fell down.
Oh, I fell down. Yes. Oh, I fell over. Austin
Where are
Powers.
you falling down?
Oh my God, yeah. I gotta walk around those places. Okay, no.
It doesn't just hold you guys up.
Yeah.
I can break that to spin around.
No, but I want you to think about this. So we have to understand that everything's a choice that way. So then, like you talked about, your dad taught you work ethic, but here's what happens this. And this is why I've always said this. If I had a son, and it's different for a daughter, but I have a son, and being a guy, if my son looked up to another guy, man, I'd be, first of all, like, dude, you're supposed to be the G. You're supposed to be the one that your son, emulates and say, because he's out there crushing it. Yep. But what comes down to it, and they can see you doing that, but they also need to see you. So I think we give guys too much of a pass. The fact that it's like just because they go out and bring home the bread, that now gives them a pass on all the other things that takes quality to be a husband, quality to be a dad, quality to be keeping themselves in good shape, keeping their mind right. Thoughts? Agree or disagree there, Kathy, and explain.
I do agree that we give dads
Yeah.
passes. And again, I think it's because society creates a role for a woman and a mom and what they're supposed to do and what they're expected to do. And I think that in order for, like, as a wife or myself, I wanted to provide that. I had my mother who, raised me to be a certain way. I looked at her. I tried to emulate that. I didn't do such a good job, did I? Because somewhere along the way there, I got a little bit of independence. But I do think that we do give the guys passes, and they need to be around the kids a little bit more. And teach them. Now, Kelly did a really good job with our girls, brought them out to the woods and things like that.
Yeah.
I always thank God that I didn't have boys because I don't know if I'd know how to raise them. Girls I did, but boys I wouldn't have been able to. Kelly would have done a fine job. But anyway, so I think we do give them a pass.
Yeah. Like, since you stemmed that question in my head.
Should I just no? Obviously, at this point, going how you explained it, do we give a pass? Yeah, I would agree with that now. I will say, though, when shit hit the fan and something went wrong in the family, he was the one who dished out the punishment. But at the same time, my father passed over 10 years ago, and I'm going to give probably like the best compliment that I can receive as his son is, to this day, I still see his friends come through, or people I've never even met before, and they're like, "You're James's son," because I have that in him, and they're like, he was a hard-ass worker. So there's a lot of pride from that, but I think it's a complete blend. You know, I got that from him, and I got these certain things from my mom. So in the end, I had to work it out early in my 20s. Thank God I have that shit on lockdown now.
Yeah.
And
Can you explain what characteristics did you take from your mom?
a lot of the nurturing, strong emotion, attachment. You know, I will say my mom taught me how to treat a lady. And, you know, even though my father would work really hard and stuff like that, maybe he was out working longer for other reasons, not to want to be around her. I don't know. But no, my mother, you know, just the examples that she showed me in how to, you know, love someone. And, you know, I consider myself to have a very big heart, and, you know, that might not be considered masculine, but there's another side to me. You know, you step one wrong way,
I'm gonna beat your ass, but
I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
Right, exactly.
So there's both sides, and I think I got the best traits from them. But my mom, you know, besides the fact of doing everything for me, how to treat a lady, how to love, and then essentially how to care for her and have a good family.
Dana?
Okay, so everything depends on the situation and everything, right? And I mean, I like that you're bringing this up, and I can get on board with what you're saying, that we're giving, you know, maybe dads or whatever, like too free of a pass, but also like there's a pendulum here, and how much do we talk about, okay, fine, maybe they got too much of a free pass for a while, but now what's happened? Because now we're trying to tell the dads to be home at 5 o'clock and to be a second mom. And that's not what we want to be doing either. So you got to be really delicate with like, what are those roles supposed to be? I don't think there's anything wrong with typical gender roles, which are different than masculine and feminine, by the way.
Right.
Gender roles are how you act, and masculine and feminine are your characteristics, right? And so there's nothing wrong with that typical gender role. Yes, should the man be fully invested in his family and caring for the house? Absolutely. But you got to be careful that you're not turning him into that second mom, because that's what women are trying to do today. And we got to be careful that we stay away from that.
Now, wait, you stemmed another question. We're going to go on here, and then we're going to come to you about the dad passed away. No, I mean, seriously, and a married woman with 10 years, and you know, I've recently talked to my daughter about this too, and my son-in-law. But let me see a question. As a married woman for 10 years, now we're going to go to Kathy and then Jean, because like I said, I want to get the difference, because there's 36 years, 10 years. How much time do you need from Andy per week? Because any woman that says they need attention from their husbands every single day, I'd like, you're fucked.
Like me? Like me personally?
You personally, how much?
Okay, well, that was
how
another
much
thing that-
time do you need from Andy per week to feel that there's connection? Let's use that. Okay,
connection.
let's say, what do you
Yeah,
think?
that was actually something I was going to bring up with the kids things too, because you don't need to spend 8 hours a day with your
Right,
kids. You need to
right.
connect with them for like 15 minutes or whatever, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess that could maybe vary, but like, I don't know, probably
Estimate.
an hour or two, or maybe if you want to break it out by day, like 15 minutes,
Okay. Kathy, now 36 years.
give or take.
How much? Kelly's right there. Okay, how much time, how much focus time do you need per week?
Maybe a couple hours.
Okay. Jean.
Well, I'm in my second marriage, so based on my expertise, as it would be, I'm
How many years
good.
have been your married second marriage? Just because I want to clarify for the
The
audience.
second marriage is 18 years. The
Okay.
first one was a little less than 11.
Okay.
So you can add those together if you want.
We'll come back
It's
to you because you
fine.
have something to say.
I would say for attention from my husband, quality time, it would just be minutes a day.
Okay.
Just minutes a day. Just
Yeah.
enough to fan
Yep, so
the
Danny
flame.
wants to
Well,
say
and I want to say, I don't know if you guys are talking the same way that I am. If you're looking for like minutes or hours or something like that's the love language of quality time. That does
Right.
not mean that you shouldn't sext me during the day, or that you shouldn't
Oh,
tell
wait.
me I
Oh,
look
yeah.
nice.
Are we talking kids or?
No.
We're talking
Spouses.
spouses right
Yeah.
now.
Spouses.
Spouses right now.
Okay, good.
I say sexing kids. I'm like, what shit? Like, there's jail time for
With
that.
kids, how much time do we?
I
kids,
caveated on
Yeah.
that
No,
before
just-
with kids.
yeah,
No,
sorry,
we're
it's
talking
like-
about about
Husband,
ourselves. I mean, that's
yeah.
like the quality time piece, though. That does not take away from all the other consistent romance that needs to go on all day long.
Like just the little interactions back and
Yeah.
forth. How can you add that up?
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like,
135 interactions per day, but then 15 dedicated minutes.
Yeah. Like,
135. Holy
35?
Yeah.
15 minutes?
Jesus.
yeah, 15 minutes. What are you?
That's like
Can I
10 times
pre-plan them
the-
out for the next
only
8 years?
only 5 minutes are for the man, so
That's
That was
right.
auto
I need
text
10, he needs 5.
all day long. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so go back to the dad question. If you have any comments and stuff we're talking, the people are really going cool on the thing here. So it's kind of like
35 is
So,
reasonable.
just to clarify,
Only
so
half
I'm not
kidding.
talking about kids when I go into the. No, I am talking about kids. Dad gets past
Creep.
too easy when it comes to work,
well, so
Like being a parent,
yeah.
kinda.
So I have this, and I remember, and I'm also anytime I pose these questions to tell the audience that way is. I think that men always have to be constantly reflecting daily because I think a man has to be so hard himself that if another man comes to him and says, hey, this, their words don't really bother him because it's just reaffirmation of the direction you're going. And that's what I tell people. If a man's hurt by another person's words, that means you are not evaluating your life and you're not looking at yourself and you're not going after your 3 M's. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you go, shit, mine sucks. I know that I'm working on it. Cool. Let's see a bath. Man, you're fat. Fuck, yes, I knew that. I'm working on that. You have to get my point. But if you're offended, if a man's offended by another man's words that way, and so I look at going this way, and I really think about this because I sitting there going, because men on the flip side, they try to sometimes use excuses. If all you want to do is focus on your money, then don't get married, don't have kids. See, I have no problem with that. Then don't get married and don't have kids. Then you don't involve anybody else. Do you understand? And then you won't have to have those responsibilities. But the minute you could decide to get married or decide to have kids, you have a responsibility. So you can't give me the aspect of like, I'm so focused on this that guess what happens? Now, Duran, I agree with Dana. It's flipped so much that they're trying to make men into women. It's like you got to be home I've always said, you know, you call a man that's home every night for supper? Broke. Fucking broke. Because there's shit a man's got to do where he's not going to come home. Or on top of it, he may come home, but he's not home.
So it's safe to say that he is a.
So a latte pussified beta male.
Just want to clarify. Again.
And the sad part is this, I'm sorry, but I see this a lot, like you said, from women that raise the boys instead of the man raising the boys, because then what they do is yes, by nature, women want to spend more time. Sorry, ladies, women want to spend more time with us than we want to do with you. Do you understand?
I
And
agree.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah. Yep.
We just, it's like, and I think the major reason why we want to spend time with you anyways, because if we know we don't get sex, so we got to do it anyways, and so that's we'll put our time. Well, isn't that supposed to be the truth on here? So let's go back to the daddy thing.
So I think men in this regard get too much of a pass. I could go off on a different tangent, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to. You actually kind of brought up some good points about your family dynamic when Dad was around. You know, my dad traveled sometimes. Sometimes the work wasn't here. You know, he was a pipe fitter, steam fitter. He did all like the nuclear power plants. He helped build all the duct work and everything and welding. And so sometimes, obviously, there's not every corner a new nuclear plant. So he needed to travel sometimes. So when he traveled, you know, it was gone. It was tough. But when he was home, I could tell, and now that I reflect on it, he was exhausted all the time. But he still played with us. We would play tackle football. We'd play catch. And he was exhausted, but he still made time for us. And he put in heavy hours. So that's exactly what I do with my son. And I work hard, and I'm even working harder now, and I still make sure I give him quality time, and he'll pass that on, and it'll mean the world to him. Honestly, sitting for 8 hours with your kids, side note, I think that's horrible. It's stupid. I think quality time, you know, is hour or less. It's all they need. I think otherwise they're not going to develop themselves.
Well, because it's quality. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
that
quality over
one-on-one, and
quantity.
you can connect better, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the exception was like recently we just traveled to Atlanta, and I came back and I spent the day with my family, just shut the world off, and Sunday was just family. But it's because I wasn't there all week to spread it out. Well, otherwise, yeah, you don't need to give him that much attention. He's got to get a hobby.
Well, the idea that parents have to entertain their kids 24/7
Oh, seriously.
is way overboard.
Let them
And
be bored.
that's
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let them learn how to cope and develop those skills.
Do you know how many times my
You
kids
know?
come to me today and they're like, Mom, I'm bored. Like, what should I do? I'm like, go find something to do.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I don't say anything.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, if we said to my dad, my brother and I said we were bored, that just meant we got 3 things. We got to opportunities. It was like, oh, well, I'll find something for you to do if you're bored. You sweep
Yeah,
the garage.
yeah.
You take out the garbage,
Yep.
you know. So I run that game with my daughter.
Yep.
it's funny now she's 7 and like she'll be in the car with one of her friends and play dates, which that's a whole other thing. But one of the girls went, I'm bored, and she'll go,
Yeah,
no, here comes the chores. If I have to throw up in your mouth, you're gonna do something for everybody.
yeah.
That's it. But yeah, I think I'm not married, so I'm a single dad, and I'm probably different than a lot of single dads. But I think that I think my dad worked a ton. He's 75. He still works 7 days a week. He loves what he does. So I think sometimes dads get a pass on being there in the home. But my mom also taught for 35 years, so they made it work. I mean, my brother and I knew my dad loved us and all those things, but we also knew, I mean, he's very driven. So, and that's good. And it's probably a good thing my mom was, busy too. Otherwise, I mean, we would have gotten in a lot more trouble if mom knew exactly what my brother and I were doing all the time. But, so I think that I think men have to hold themselves accountable for the next generation of men. Like you were saying, is just because something was a certain way for the last 40 years doesn't mean it can't be improved. What you monitor, you can move. What you monitor, you can improve.
Yep.
And I think men need to stand up, and it doesn't have to be 8 hours a day watching Teletubbies or whatever kids watch now. But
Paw Patrol.
whatever it might be. I mean, go cook with your kids, go mow the yard, go throw them, in a bush.
Teach them something.
Life skills.
Something.
Watch this, because everybody knows I'm a big Christmas person. Okay. Do you know?
He's
what's
already
really
playing
funny?
Christmas music in the
Oh, I
office, by
love
the
it.
way.
I love Christmas stuff. Oh, I love it. I am a Christmas person like crazy, and
I can't tell if
three-
he's serious.
No,
No,
he's
he's
serious.
He is serious. He's
I am-
80
I
degrees
love
playing
Christmas.
Christmas music.
Oh, yeah.
like-
In his defense, though, he'll be gone for a big chunk of time in between.
But even
Oh,
then,
that's-
October I start celebrating Christmas. But I want you to think about this, because you're all going to smile. If you think about one of the coolest things about Christmas, and you even think about some of the old Christmas movies, Grandpa, a dad, sits down, grabs a book, and tells a story. And see, I'll smile because you know what is this, and I kind of look at fathering like that. And what do I mean? I think that what happens is kids, even us, we are stimulated by adventure. We're stimulated by stories, and that's why it's like, even if a dad worked at a mill, okay, well, I don't have that exciting of a life. That's not really true. To your child, you can make it very exciting because you can tell your story. And then, and if you're and I said this, and if you think this way, the dad is supposed to be the person that creates the adventure for the family, and so he doesn't have to be there all the time. He can be gone 5 days a week, but then what he does and sits down and goes, "Hey, listen, I got some adventures that happen this week." And it's like, sit down and hear some. See, you all smiling right now. You see, they're going.
The jokes, the
But why can't we teach our men this way? Hey, listen, go knock it out of the park. Do this, but share the adventure with the kids, with your family and stuff like that, because then you're the hero. Because everybody always, it's kind of funny. You ever watch? People love those stories. If you look at even movies itself, Indiana Jones, the adventures that people go on and what they can tell and things like that. And I think that's why, if you think about it this way, you see a grandpa. He's always got what? Stories.
Yeah.
Stories.
That's good.
Fun
You
ones.
understand? And so it's like, but here's what happens this. We don't have to be grandpas to be those heroes to the young ones. So when I tell my girls about stuff, I'll tell them the things I go through and the things and the adventure and stuff like that goes on with that way. And it can even be a day at work, because there's
That's
always
the
an
best.
adventure.
Right.
It's fresh. It's new.
Yeah.
To be fair, you
Listen
are
to what
getting old.
happened today.
Look who I put in jail.
Wow.
They didn't all hear that.
So, and we're gonna come to Gene in a second, but I want to come to a comment that this young lady made in here. Can you be a feminine boss? Okay.
Yes.
You won't work.
So let's do this. Hold on a second. So Gene, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna come back to you. We're gonna come around this one
That's
because.
fine.
So here we go, and here we go. So I want you to do this. So Gene, give us the answer. Well, giving the dad a pass, and we're gonna come back to the feminine boss.
Oh,
thing
and
here.
giving the dad a pass. I think it's there's a lot of that mentality, a blanket mentality in society about giving men a pass on that time with the kids. However, the dads are taking the pass. They're being thrown it. They're taking it. They should not be saying, "Okay, I'm just gonna, not." My first husband actually said, "I'm not gonna be that kind of dad." And I'm just like, eh. You want to have kids, you want to have X number of kids, you want them to be fun when they hit a certain age, but you're not going to be that kind of dad. And actually, in the process of closing out that relationship, he had to step up, became that dad.
Yep.
So there was no more pass.
Yep.
So
here's what we're going to do, because
Yeah.
I want to answer the question on this one. And I'm going to go from you to Kathy right away, and
Oh,
then we'll go to
yay.
Dana on
Girl
this one.
power.
And so it's like, because we're going to, so the question is there, and thank you for the question. This person asked, can you be a feminine boss? So let's start with Jean.
yes, one can be a feminine boss. You can be a boss with feminine characteristics. Did I get that right, Dana? Feminine characteristics.
Okay,
Like
so
nurturing,
so give me-
compassionate,
Right.
such.
So,
And
so
it
give me
depends on
give
the-
me a characteristic.
Characteristic, empathetic.
Okay.
Nurturing.
Yeah, well, nurturing, yes, but I think that there's a communication part of nurturing
So
that women bring to the table that men don't.
okay, Kathy.
Yeah.
I believe that a boss can be feminine because I am one. So I mean, I think, and there are certain traits with the
So Dana's face. So go ahead.
with the bringing the empathy, the understanding. Now you have to be tough. You have to bring out the male characteristics at times, but I think that understanding, organizing, conducting, all of that kind of stuff kind of goes.
I
with
got-
the
I
But,
got
but
one
are those
question.
feminine or are those masculine?
So I got one question that I'm gonna have Dana answer, but I got one question before. So here's what happened. So I pulled out some feminine characteristics, which I think feminine characteristics are amazing. Okay, so I got a question for you. We're gonna go to compassionate, nurturing, creative, patient, sensitive, multitasking, supportive, and grateful. Okay, those are fantastic feminine qualities. Okay, I love those qualities of feminine
Yes.
qualities.
Agreed.
So I got a question. Then you guys gotta give me a question, answer on this, and then Dana's gonna go off. Okay.
She's like, ah.
You feel her
My,
vibration.
my hands are doing
Are,
this.
and you,
yeah.
so,
No,
and
we
you
run
guys,
a
Gene,
daycare?
I know your answer. Are you a Packer fan?
No, I would
Okay.
have to say no.
Okay. Are you a Packer fan?
I am.
Okay. So I want you to ponder if those feminine characteristics are going to make a good Packer player, a Packer team.
No.
So Dana, well, let me get your answer then.
Can you be a feminine boss? You can, but you're probably not gonna make it, right? Because those characteristics, society needs to be run in a masculine way,
Agreed.
right? Because
I agree.
we need to compete and be the best and win, because that's how we have a good and productive society. Otherwise, you just end up sucking. And the more that we have feminine traits in the workplace and out running and governing society, the more things just tend to suck in general. And you were talking about like organize. What other things you say, like organizing
Organizing,
and
Multitasking.
but that's not
understanding.
necessarily like feminine characteristics. And I would probably argue if you broke down your day that you would look that you were probably in when you're in, boss mode and stuff, you're really acting more masculine throughout with sprinkles of probably feminine, because you need some sprinkles of that in there to, like build a culture and, have some touchy-feely things and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But largely, if you're going to be successful, you're going to have a lot more masculine in you than you are going to have feminine.
I guess I can understand that. I mean, I'm not going to be all sexy all day and all
Right.
that kind of stuff with my team, but I do think that
You could still be sexy, just.
yeah,
probably
I
not how
guess you
you're talking.
can, but
Right.
I curl my hair every day and then I come and I yell at people.
I mean, I work at home and I get dressed up every day to go.
So watch this, and I'm going to name the person who asked that question.
I know.
Oh my
It
goodness.
should
Her
be
name
fun.
is her name is Lauren,
I love Lauren.
your boss.
Yeah, and
But-
she's tough on me.
Thank you. That's my point.
She is
see
tough
what
on me,
happens
but
with this.
that's what I
But
want.
your
I
job
embrace
over
it.
there takes more feminine characteristics. Now watch this.
Yes,
Do you know what made me a better doctor? Feminine or masculine characteristics?
feminine.
Feminine. That's why women can relate to me, because it's more nourishing, compassionate. I could be empathetic. It's going to sound funny. If a person has feminine qualities in business, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to take all your business. Because what happens is this: the compassion, nurturing, empathetic will actually allow for participation trophies. Everybody has a chance. Everybody has this way.
It's all equal.
But I will tell you this: but when you do, but here's that. But Gene, you radiate all those things when in your customer service. But customer service is not being a boss.
Exactly.
See, that's there. So when Lauren asks, "Can you be a feminine boss?" No. Must there be feminine characteristics within a business, even being a doctor? Yes. That's why I said if you look at running society, there has to be massive masculine traits and characteristics. But when it comes to certain things, you're going to have feminine things that do it. It's just that we're seeing this now. If feminine dominates in a family, you have the
Soy latte pussified beta males.
and then the person that suffers the most is the woman they first marry or date. If that happens in society, what happens this? You have HR departments. Do you know what I'm saying?
Nonsense.
You have all this stuff that because then the culture, the language moves into society and they try to perpetuate that. Because you know what's really funny? If you have 4 guys together and they're talking stuff, the minute one woman walk there, shop talk stops. And it's not because they want to stop. It happens in the workplace because they're worried about getting sued or HR.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah,
think
I've seen that.
I worked at a bigger firm, and I was talking to some other women by me about how we need more men on this team. Because the team that I worked on at the time, there were 30 of us, and I think 20 to 23 of us were female, and like they were looking to hire people. And I said something about how, like, kind of off the cuff, because this is how I am, about how we need more men, and like the wrong female manager, because I know who it was who tattled on me, went and told my performance counselor on me, and then I had to get talked to about how we can't talk like that in the workplace. And I'm like, okay,
Even
but
though it's
also
true.
we also need some more testosterone on this team. That's like a true thing. So that's tattling.
Ever
Tell
since
ya.
going into the workforce, starting at, well, I was working many times before, but my main long-term job was Shanghai International. Ever since then, to this day, I've been labeled a HR nightmare. No, I think we should just
Good.
get rid of HR entirely.
Yep, and we should just
So,
all
Mike,
say whatever we want.
I got a question because I want to come back to that. Those qualities you're talking about that you had to beat out yourself. Give me one of those characteristics then that you think you had to overcome by being raised by a mom. That you recognize cause problems in, let's say, relationships or even business or something like that. I can tell you. I'm going to give you one.
I
but I'm
almost
gonna
need the list again at that point, but it's,
Okay, let me give you an example. Because my dad was gone Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually was raised by a mom that way and stuff. And the one thing that I think by nature men are better with conflict than women. Actually, real men create conflict. That's how things happen. I look for conflict every day. I look to create it every day because that's how growth and things happen that way. But I want you to think of it this way: is like, but women by nature do what with conflict? Avoid it. And you know what's really
Avoid it
funny?
or try to stop it.
Do you understand that a real man will tell a truth better than any good woman will? Do you want me to say it again? Quote me on this. A real man will tell the truth better than a good woman. Because a good woman by nature who's compassionate and stuff doesn't want to tell her friend, you look like shit, your ass is big, stuff like this. A real guy tell the truth that way, be more brutal, and they'll look for conflict that way. You understand? And so I avoided conflict, so therefore you try to keep peace. Do you understand? And a man's not meant to keep peace.
Right.
That's why I watch this in politics. Men create war. Yeah, and you know how you stay out of war? You become the biggest bass motherfucker around. They don't
Exactly.
fuck with you. Well, look what's happening right now. We have a demented,
Shits his pants.
yeah,
president.
and the world goes, you ain't gonna do crap.
Right,
Exactly.
for sure.
This is just nature. Do you understand? And that's why. So I look at avoiding conflict. So therefore, now what happened is this: I get married, and you think, well, I got to be like my mom. I got to make sure that dad's not upset or people are upset. And then what it do? It created, and I'm supposed to be the man. You understand? And I saw that I didn't, and so that's why now I've talked about pendulum swing, and now I'm going. My life got better when I started doing that. When I started going, no, we're gonna talk about this now. Do you know what I'm saying? We're in conflict now. Doesn't mean we're gonna have answers, but we're gonna at least put it on the table. Do you understand? And so it's like, does that make sense? The kind of quality that way? Like I said, I kind of, because women by nature fall, in the rules, the general rules, there are
Right.
exceptions. Do you understand? But the general rules are women avoid more conflict.
yeah, because I would, to avoid conflict, I would self-sacrifice, fall on the sword.
Even lie.
Yeah.
I did too. I lied like crazy. I lied like crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? You think you're doing something good by lying that way. And I lied like crazy because you're trying to keep peace and stuff. So, yeah. Isn't that crazy when you think about that? You go back there. And a guy and a dad that is now so that's why it's kind of funny. one of the greatest things I told my son-in-law is like, here's what happens. This, tell the truth. It's gonna be brutal. It's gonna this, and then it's their issue. Let them deal with it. Do you see him? And it's like, because it's better than avoiding it. And you're just gonna have a big blow up later.
I think that having Devin on here would be a wonderful thing. He can share his side of the story of how he became a man through your influence.
You know what's really funny? And I'm not going to share this, but I'll share this with you. Devin wrote me a long message as I was sitting here, out of the blue, and stuff like that. And
Those are cool when you get those.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
yeah, it's a private thing. But see what I'm saying?
Yep.
He married him, so I can share that with him. That way. But it was
Good boy, Devin.
Yeah, but let's just say he's very grateful for me.
Yeah, he is.
To Sam, because even today I was teaching him business, preparing him, because I taught him some things that because I'm trying to figure out how to do a teaching on this, and I gotta tell you, I learn a lot from other people's questions, and it's really funny, and this is where I think it's gonna sound negative, but I want you guys to follow me on this, and I want to get your input on this. So I had one of my doctors ask me, I was down in Florida, and Devin was actually there too. Devin was there, and our team was there, and one of our team members got extremely hurt by a staff member. She and her husband are owners of a clinic that way, and this girl goes on mission trips, and she's does all stuff and all the bullshit, this good image stuff. But anyways, and then a doctor screwed him over and stuff like that. And she said to me, she goes, "How do you handle things so well? Or something goes bad, you're smiling really quickly, or you don't seem to get, you can bother you for a second and you get rid of it right away when people do stuff to you." And I said, and it hit me. I was like, and I want to get, so we're going to start, Gene, we're starting to go around it.
Yay.
And I said, here's the difference. I said, you think that most people are good. I think that 99% of people are just biggest pieces of shit. So you guys know this. Do you guys have a family member that's a big piece of shit? When he does something bad, you're like, he's a piece of shit. Just you expect that shit from him.
Yep.
You know my point?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But we know
Shocker.
this, and we know this though, and this has been studied. It's only roughly 5% of people are working on themselves. So that means 95% of people statistically are big pieces of shit. And so why are you surprised when people that don't work on themselves, don't reflect, don't make their mind muscle way, don't make the 3 S's together that way, and they do bad stuff, and you're surprised? I'm like going, it's kind of expected. See, and what happens is, and this happens in the Christian community, they say Christian or Jesus, that they're automatically like, that they're working on themselves. I can tell you some of the worst people I ever dealt with call themselves Christians. It's like, and so I just think the majority of people are just dumb pieces of shit. So when people do this, I'm like going, when a 2-year-old cries because he doesn't get his toy, what do we all say? Hey, he's 2. A 12-year-old does it, you're like, now we have 22 and 32 and 42 of people acting like fucking 2-year-olds olds.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Seriously.
Preach
Their
it.
mom's house. Yeah.
Well, that's my point, though. So I just think the majority of people
Milf.
are pieces of shit. Gene,
Not
agree or
labor
disagree?
force.
And here, I gave my explanation to say why I believe that, and it's really funny. And here, because here, watch this, and I'll say this to you guys, and I'm gonna ask you guys both. Kathy, how many stand-ups did you have in your wedding?
5.
Okay, I got a question for you. Would you agree with me? And you've been married for 36 years. Would you agree with me? It was probably one of the most important days of your life. Okay. Okay, say top 5. Okay, just because kids are born, that's things that's whatever. But here's the point: is this way, and there you're gonna find it and start asking people this: how many of those people are still in your life, actively living life with you?
4, because they were family members.
And how many of those 4 do you actually like? Okay, now
4.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, but get my point.
'Cause they're
Do
watching.
you want me to go for this
What's
one?
that?
Can I be a better example of this?
Okay, let's.
I had
let's-
7.
And
Exception.
I guess none. I mean, one was like my sister, but we don't really do life together. We're states away and, whatever.
Sure.
And then one would have been a sister-in-law. And again, we're not doing life together necessarily. So
I'll make this a little easy
yeah.
for you to prove your point, if I may. I had 4, and I talked to 0.
But here's my
Yeah.
point: is this? It's going why? Because it was one of those important parts of your life, and they were there. But
We're there.
they were there, and guess what happens? This,
Yeah,
and,
that
and, I, and I
time.
started watching this. And I started asking people, I'm like, why are they out of your life? And it's always something they did to, or how they behave. I'm like going, and they were so like totally blown away. I'm like, and they separated from them. I'm like, do you understand? You find yourself that you can tolerate people more when you realize that most people are pieces of shit. You really can, because you go, I expect bad behavior out of you. It doesn't mean we're going to do a lot of life together, but I expect bad behavior out of you. Gene, agree or disagree? And fill in that.
Okay, I agree. And now I get to explain.
Yes, by far.
Okay, now if we're comparing people who stood up in our weddings, I reel those people back in. I'm mindfully and intentionally reeling those people back in. They're the people I go to. If somebody here offends me, I might say, hey, check out this podcast. This person offended me or something. Even though there's someone in Texas, there's someone in Arizona, there's another person in Florida, another person that I just randomly go to their workplace in Oshkosh and hope they're at lunch or not at lunch. You know, it's that easy thanks to the internet where I can still have those close conversations. But I don't have these high expectations. I know their faults. I know they're not unlike myself. I'm not all that great, you know, in the whole world and mix of things. But I like that I'm working on me. I like that I'm moving towards improvement all the time, even at my age.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to be mindful of that. But
I say is, watch this. How many people are, though? If you,
Right.
That's the thing. See, that's the part where it's like, most people are not. And that's why, if you ever look at going, that's why the bad behaviors came, or that's why the things, and that's why you find yourself, and that people are surprised. That people are just so surprised.
there are people that have been surprised. Like when I worked at the Oshkosh plant, one lady was just shocked to find out I used to hop bars. I'm like, what? Oh, you used to go to that bar too? I'm like, yeah. But she had a completely, I mean, thank gosh, yeah, I turned my life around and she was impressed by me, but she just couldn't understand that I was the kind of person who was just like her. Why are you surprised? You know.
Joe.
I've never been married. But I look at just my life the last 5 years. My best friends change. My top 5 best male friends change probably every 2 years. So, but then again, I'm looking for people, and I'm always looking for that next level person that I can learn from and grow from. And if somebody's not reading books, they're not growing, then I'm not in the business of pushing ropes. You know, I don't remember what the original question was, but I felt like that was a solid
You're right.
That's good enough.
Travis.
Just talking about most people are pieces of garbage, whatever, right? That's the okay. You know, Tonto said it right in the movie 13 Hours. They're all bad guys until they're not. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. But you know, I really make sure I respect people right away. And you really you share that in the office. Respect people, but you don't have to trust them. And I really have taken that approach, not in a bitter way, just in an awareness way, because my time is valuable, and I want to make sure it's utilized to the best of my abilities. And I don't want to waste time on people who don't want to change and grow or be thankful for the time I give them.
Perfect.
Well, kind of like we talked about, women are easier to manipulate. So when somebody like does something wrong or wrongs you, it's easier probably for women to like take them back and be like, oh, you know, it's okay just because they apologized and stuff. And I don't know, maybe we need to be a little harder about that. I mean, you did a whole rise and grind on the 5%ers thing, and that really actually ended up hitting home for me, because I realized, like, man, no wonder my circle is getting so small, because I can't tolerate, you know, some of this anymore. And I'm training another practitioner right now, which I wouldn't do to everybody, because I only want to do it for the 5%ers. I only want to like really invest into those people. And we were done training, we were on a walk, and because she's doing 75 hard also, and she was talking. I know, shocking.
Yeah, shocking.
And she was talking to me about like going to the gym, and she was like, man, like I can't get anybody to stick with a class or just consistently going like any longer than like a couple weeks. She's like, there's nobody. She's like, well, you would probably do it, but you don't go to the gym. I'm like, well, true, yeah, I work out at home. But she's like, it's just impossible. I'm like, Keisha, like, you're looking for your 5%ers. The only 5% of people are actually working on themselves, and that's who you're looking for, and those people are hard to find. And we all probably just in general need to narrow our friend circles, because we have this impression that like everybody is our friend. Everybody is not our friend. The people who are your friends are the ones who want you to win and who are excited for you to win, and are the ones who are helping you win. Everybody else really kind of doesn't matter. You're looking for your 5%ers, and just narrow that circle in, because you really only only, probably have a couple of friends. If I got married, I had 7 people, I said before, stand up in my wedding. If I got married today, I don't even really know who would be there, probably tops 3.
I had the judiciary and one of the court reporters,
Yeah.
but you know that it
Yeah.
was apropos at the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
Mike,
I mean, since my life has changed so much now being 38, but if you were to like ask me this question when I was 24, 25, I'd be like, hell yeah, I want 8 people on both sides and stuff like that. But here's the thing. I kind of look at this as related to high school. Who the hell do we still talk to from high school anymore, let alone college as well? But now, once I actually do have a ceremony and finally color my wife, it's just going to be about us. And then the very small group of close-knit people that I want to be around, and to each their own, who I want to grow, learn from, and be a better man, be a better person, be a better family man, and that's who I'm going to surround myself with. So it's small, but, when we actually have that ceremony, it's just going to be her and I up there.
okay.
So let's see. By nature, I would, my entire life really, I believe people are, so the 95% are good, right? And I trust first. I've learned in my 58 years that should have been narrowed a little bit more, and that there were people that would take advantage just to take advantage. But I would say that I was not shocked by that. I was saddened because I want to connect. Like, this is what I like to do. I love to delve and listen and learn. And you have to be able to, in order to do that, you have to have trust, and that's a small circle of people. So I'm realistic. I understand it now. But really, first, I trust first. I love humanity. I know, kumbaya. I know it sounds like that, but I do. And so I want to believe in them first.
And here's what happens, and you made a good point. See, you right there, you know what you sound like?
A girly girl?
You sound like a good feminine woman.
Yeah.
And now
So that's
Kelly's
what I'm saying.
job is to protect you from yourself. It's not a joke. It really is.
he
It's not a joke.
He does.
No, it's not. But I love those kind of answers from women and things like that. And it's like, and I think that we have to have now I will tell you this though. This is a personal opinion, and I'd like to hear you guys' perspective on this. It's so much easier for us and me to speak to who I am, because I could be like this all the time. You guys have to, if you were at home all the time and you basically controlled your society, meaning the home, the kids, the things like this, you wouldn't have to, you could look with rose-painted glasses. But then the husband says, all right, guess what, Kathy, you got to go out to the world. It's fucking brutal. These people are pieces of shit. And the woman goes, well, no, that's not true. All people are good. And no, you get my point though?
Well, yeah.
So I teach my girl. That's why I believe this. I believe that, Brandon has a little son, Malachi. And it's really funny. I can't wait till he walks. You know why? Because he's walking, I'm fucking knock him over, push him down. Because
Get him a
you
helmet.
must make men's life hard to prepare them for the world, and you have to prepare women that life is hard. So I prepare my daughters, saying, listen, my job is to protect you, and my job is to also let you know that there's a bunch of pieces of shit out there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you remember the video of Irv Favre and Brett Favre
Yes.
as a kid? And his dad, he's wearing a helmet, and his dad's got punching gloves on. It was like one of those Favre videos. Back. He's just beating the crap out of him. And look what he became.
Yep.
He became the Iron Man of the NFL
Yep.
for all this time.
Well, because we have to make boys' lives hard.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to, and then the top of it, so I loved your answer, what you said there. I want women to have a little better perspective on humanity than us. But that's like when girls say, oh man, I'm going to let my teenage girl go with this good Christian boy. Are you fucking kidding me? He has testosterone just like the rest of me. He wants to grab your daughter's ass.
That's
You
how
saying?
Jesus made him.
That's how Jesus made him. He really did. I'm like going, it's my job to protect and go, it's like when I talked to Devin, I said, Devin, and this is just me because I believe in abstinence and saving yourself for marriage and stuff like that. And so Chrissy and I, we actually made that kind of where we teach our girls and everything. And what happened was this, it was like, all of a sudden Devin came over and said, may I date your daughter? I said, yes, you have my permission, but you touch her, I will fucking kill you. And I said, and when you get married, have sex, your eyes pop out. Do you understand? That's what it really was. And it was going, hey, listen, because by nature, young women are going to be, Devin's a very good-looking blonde beach boy and stuff like that, good body, over that. So of course she's good.
So handsome.
Yeah, still handsome. But yeah, so there's attraction that's supposed to happen. I expect my daughters to have that kind of attraction and things like that. But it's like, and that's why I said. So I loved your answer, Kathy. Absolutely loved your answer. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic. You sounded like a woman. Let women be women.
Yep.
But then, we have to, as protectors, we have to go. No, that's not the way the world is. You know what I'm saying? And it's like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the way the world
No,
maybe should be, but here's a dose of reality.
I've been told by my husband, don't hang out with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to find out for myself, and I'm taking that into great consideration. And he
Yeah.
wasn't wrong, but don't hang out with that person.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, by nature, like I said, you guys will see the best, and I'm, something, and I'm actually happy that women actually have that kind of trait. You know why? Otherwise, they just dump us really quickly the minute we did something stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
There would be no humanity.
Nope.
Humanity wouldn't exist.
I think God had a good design. That's why we know God's
Pretty
a man.
good. Pretty good
You know
design.
what I'm saying? It's like,
Fair.
no, but you're fair.
Fair.
You see what I'm saying?
Fair.
It's like going, and see the things that we're talking about right now. Think of it this way: it's going to make relationships, public, everything better.
Yeah.
Do you say it? It does. That's the whole. Our whole thing of having this podcast is to have discussions to make society better. So when people listen or we walk out this damn door, that people. So I want a person to go like, and I said this to Dana because Dana's like, you're gonna love Joe, and then meeting you, it's been awesome. I want you guys around.
Yeah.
I want us to text, hang out, push each other, things that because remember what happens is this, because then what happens is by nature we're competitive. So if you have bigger muscles, I want fucking bigger muscles.
Yeah.
You guys got to
Do you
come early
understand?
next time and use the gym.
Oh, makes sense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And if you got money, my competitive nature is I want to have more money.
That's right. I want you to.
You understand?
I want you to exceed all the way up to me.
Thank you. Exactly.
And if I have to stand on you, I'll do it with a smile.
That's right.
And I'm not above trickery.
Yes. But on the
If it's for your greatest good.
By the flip side, then you
He
can.
goes for nuts.
That's right. Then you can do better.
Bite you.
Yeah.
You can do well. It's really funny. It's like I always tell people. It's like I'm very happy with people's success, but by nature, my internal competitive nature goes, man, if they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
That's what guy stuff is, and that's why it's
You
like
need that drive society. Because if you don't have that, then
How many times do I talk to you during the week where I flat out call you a pussy?
yeah,
every other day, Joe.
yeah.
But that's a reminder. Like,
But that's what you're supposed. That's what guys are supposed to do.
Well,
I
get
know,
this.
exactly.
What's really funny, and here's what happens, and they say it's not acceptable culture because when COVID came along, I literally did this. I stepped up as a man. I said, listen, I contacted Christian schools, churches. I said, listen, if you stand up and do what's right, I will pay for your legal fees. And all of them bowed the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you love Jesus. And then I came and say, and even the Christian leader of our current school, once again, I told him he was a pussy, and I said, must be tough as a male to sit down when you pee.
I love that.
You understand? And I got fired from being the golf coach. You understand?
oh,
Because I'll deal with my consequences. Do you understand? And the parents were pissed I was the girls' golf coach, and the parents were pissed that I was fired because I took their young ladies and we developed them into incredible athletes. You know what I'm saying? That never golfed and things like that. And it's kind of funny because by nature, people want to follow a leader in tough times. Everybody hates the warrior until evil's at their door.
That's very true.
I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
That's hey, you stole my saying. Good.
Yes.
Everybody
We
hates
just become
toxic
best friends?
masculinity.
High five.
Karate in the garage.
That's right.
Well,
Nunchucks.
Well, and see, that's where I'm looking at this, and so that's why I love to see. And you know what's really funny? And the more that men become men, the more that even in a business, women can become women, and actually they can succeed in their characteristics. Do you see? Because by nature, it's kind of neat because there are feminine characteristics that make business extremely good. It's just that you can't be the boss. Do you understand?
Hold it together.
They can't-
You can
they
hold
can't be
it.
the
Now,
characteristics that
if you
dominate.
want to be the boss, you need to adapt male characteristics. But here's where I get a little frustrated. And I just did this with my nurse practitioner today, Nicole. We were teaching our academy. And I even talked about protecting Nicole because Nicole will see me work 20 hours in a day. Or she'll see this, I'll get a little less sleep, this. And she tried to keep up a bit to me. And she literally fainted. She literally fainted.
More than once, right?
Yeah. Her cycle got thrown off. Things like this. And I'm sitting there going, don't do that. Because as a boss, I'm trying to protect her even for herself. So Kelly protects you from yourself or the view of the world going, it's only going to hurt you, and I need to protect you from that thought process. Do you know what I'm saying? And see, and now watch this. Now, if we take those kind of female characteristics and apply it to society, that's why politics is so bad.
Right.
Because you know why? Oh, this woman got pregnant and the guy just left her. She's the gateway to sex. She's responsible. Do you see it? Because I'm like going, fuck that girl. And I didn't get her pregnant. Everybody's like, oh, you're a misogynist. You hate women. No, I'm not. I'm like, no, she's not in my family. She's not this, so I don't give a shit about her. Do you understand? She's way over here. I don't even know who she is. Just like none of you guys give a shit about the people in Africa dying right now. I don't give a shit about them. Do you understand? And so that's the point where I'm trying to get to. It's like going, and that's why we need to keep feminine characteristics out of running society.
Yep.
Agree or disagree? Gene.
Well,
I
when
said
you put
running.
it-
I didn't say
running.
contributing.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. And if do you want me to expand on that?
It's you can say,
I
remember,
got
you
the-
can
I
say
got
free
the
realm.
mic.
Go, Gene.
Mike's got the mic.
Yeah.
I got the mic. Okay. Anyhow, over the last 3 or 4 years, as I've gotten more interested in contemporary issues, I hated that subject, any of those contemporary subjects in history in school. I just didn't feel there was any application for it. But when you're living in the middle of upheaval and distress, and you're starting to realize, whoa, there's this physiological difference between men and women, and when it in the leadership that comes out, and I'm just looking at the ads and the campaigns, and I'm just looking at these women thinking, no, I don't think so. And I'm looking at the men and saying, yeah, I'm going to gravitate towards this as far as leadership and running things, and having been a small business owner in the past, I couldn't maintain it. It wasn't sustainable. So when I'm looking at these women who are trying to take these great leadership roles, I'm thinking, is that sustainable? I mean, if our country and our businesses are relying on the strength of this female, and I know personally it's not sustainable, then it's not good for the country. It's not good for society.
And both you guys, and Gene, I know you're passing, and we're going to ask Dane, we're going to ask the females this way. Do you find yourself, though, watch this, Kathy, when your young ladies and kids grew up and got out of the house, what did you find yourself more wanting to do? Stay home, take care of Kelly, or go contribute to the world?
We know Kelly's tough.
To be truthfully honest, I mean, more go out in the world because
So
I spent.
I have a theory, and I want you to this. I want Gina, I want Dana to with this. I have a theory. If you look at we talk about this. Men have to create value to be appealing. Women by nature, you're born with their value. You really are. And if you maintain those three S's, you got the world by the balls. You really do. You know what I'm saying? Just like guys, if you're a loser and you have no muscle money, once you hit the society. Remember, I tell people could say, Mike, you're arrogant. Joe, you're arrogant. Travis, you're arrogant. Going, guess what? Society will teach us very, very quickly if we have value. Because no one's going to fuck you and no one's going to pay you any money. That's only two things we care about. It's not a joke. There's only two things we care about as guys. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I tell people when men get around each other, they talk about two things, money and pussy. That's all we care about. Sorry. Just come to break it down to it that way. It's like it's usually just have money so we can get some pussy. You know what I'm saying? For my wife and stuff like that. You get my point? This is real talk, isn't it, guys?
Maybe sneak in some sports stuff and cigar talk. But
sure.
You're right there.
Yes. But when you have a cigar, what do you talk about?
Let me tell
Thank
you
you.
about this leggy blonde.
That's right. No, but if you think about it, and I have a theory. Now, I want you women to correct me on this if I'm wrong.
Okay.
See, I think, and if you look at the most formative years for a woman, once again, I think it's the ages 18 to 35. Okay, that's why we joke. That's why our joke is women get out of their prime after 35. But But here's what's the prime aspect and value that women bring.
Well, I would say just reproducing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sex,
just
yeah.
reproducing.
Sex, reproducing, some of this.
It's a calling.
And exactly. So then, therefore, I look at this. I'm going to use Erin over here, for example, because her oldest daughter just got married, things like this. Her kids are out of the house, okay? As far as, like, she's not responsible. They're adults now that way. And now you'll find women that once they've had those formative years of motherhood and those kind of things, and now their kids start to go out, they start to move. Now I believe that's when women can really even take on some male characteristics and go into society and contribute the most. Because now they felt like they've already brought their most value to it that way. Because they're life givers. We're not life givers. We're life donators. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 25 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's like
That's 5 times more than me.
that's right. No, but here's the point.
Just
So
squirt.
therefore, and so that's why, if you ever think of this way, we have to teach boys that, listen, you don't get a pass. You have to start running at 18. And the world is now giving boys a pass because they say, no, you can stay in college. You can stay adolescent, be on your dad's insurance till you're 26. And I'm like, I kind of agree with the Jewish culture. 13, guess what happens?
Yeah.
And
You're a
then
man.
then you should have guidance till you're about 30, Jesus' age, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
30, and then guess what happens? But then by 30, you should now be teaching and investing back into the 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 17. You can see the hand? Because I just think that the fact that women, they get that 35 and now their careers can take off. Because now their kids, you know, I said, like you said, Gene, I'm with you on this. Moms bring babies to children, and especially little boys. Bring them to little boys. Then men bring the boys to men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I having daughters this way. I can do so many things with my daughters, but the woman still determines how great your daughters are. Because I can't teach my daughters how to be a girl.
Yeah, there's certain conversations the dad just can't have. I mean, you're in a unique position with all that you know about
Yeah, but see,
Hormone
but,
things,
but,
but there's this. A
but I would
certain
teach my
level of
daughters how to be a really
communication.
shitty wife
Right.
because I'm not a woman.
Right.
Do you understand? It's really, I'm sorry.
You're not the automatic role model in that.
No, I can't be. That'd be
Yeah.
really bad. You understand? So
That'd
it's
be
like,
weird.
so I just think that women can really start to contribute to society once they get by someone. Because once again, Kathy, let's go right now with this. Because you've been in your career for how many years?
I've been in healthcare for 37.
So watch this. And let's say you've been married to Kelly for 36 years though this time, but you never had kids. What would you feel like? What would it be like for you? Now that you have money, you got freedom, you got stuff. You got retirement, stuff like that. So all those worries are go away. What would you be like? Would you feel like you're fulfilled?
No.
'Cause that's the point.
No, I wouldn't. I'd probably be a bitch.
Well, but I want you to think about this, and that's why I so these women that crush it, and they say, "Look, I'm 32-year-old lawyer, stuff like this. Cool, I'm cool with that." But you gave up those years to where, because you know what's really funny is this, and this is just me, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. When my grandma died, and she was 93, or Christy's grandma died, and she was 95. Okay, you know what's really funny? You know what the discussions are when the woman of that age dies? Think about the discussions.
I know what it is.
Everybody's
people are here
here
because
because of grandma. When grandpa dies, it's not the same conversation. It's not. It's what grandpa did with grandma to make sure that everybody was taken care of. It's not everybody's here because of grandpa. Those aren't those conversations, because guys aren't known for life giving. They're meant for building and maintaining society even within that family structure. So that's why you could be a 50-year-old woman that's fucking has money like crazy and things this, but your value has passed for us. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I just thoughts. But Joe, let's start with you. We're gonna go guys first, and then we're gonna go to girls. Thoughts.
Well, obviously, I'm not a 35-year-old successful female. But, the
Candy
ones,
if you identify as one.
Yeah, if you want.
or Labrador, whatever. I just look at it. Some of the women I know that are very successful, you know, and people say boss babes,
Boss bitch.
right? Is some of them have made that choice and they're okay with it currently. But again, I'd like to ask them that same question when they're 65 or 70. So I always wanted to have children. I always wanted to have a big family, and wasn't really in the cards until it was. So it's kind of the opposite. So I've always focused on work and finance, just life stuff. So it's cool now because I had my daughter the day before my 38th birthday. She was born. So because I did the right things younger, I had good mentorship. I can spend more time with her now because I'm not a 26-year-old dad or a 30-year-old dad that's go, 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 go. So I think it's the media, the program that's been put out the last, I don't know, probably 40, 50 years is you don't want to be, masculine is bad and every woman should be a boss. And I think that just leads to a lot of unfulfilled lives.
I agree. Mike, what you got?
For sure.
Yeah, with how society is right now, it's teaching the independence of women. Be independent. You can do exactly what a guy can do. Go out, kill it, and then what's going to end up happening? It already is that these women that have been successful now, they're 35, 36, 37, and they're like, look how successful I am. Where's my guy for me? They're all gone. They've been taken up prior. You missed out on that sort of thing, and now they're looking at, well, now what can I find? And then there goes the the shit on that. But I would say I'm with a bad bitch for sure. In terms of, here's the thing, she's a hard ass, which is awesome. But she made the choice like I did. We want to have kids. And I said, I'm like, I want your genetics for my kids. And same thing. And I'll say you can still have, that worker's stride mentality and have a very good career, have a family early. You just figure it out, balance it out together. But this whole stride of saying women can do exactly what a guy can do in terms of the career ethic thing, they can go and get it. But this goes back to the consequences of that. You're going to miss out.
You said something that stimulated a thought on me, and I've always said this. And because I get to speak to so many people, that's a lot of my experience. I'm just listening, like even like my hormone connection seminar. And you guys have been there. I talk like just repeat what women said back to me, and it's kind of funny because they'd be like, "That's sassy." I'm like, "Where do you think it came from?" Okay, and I want you to think about this. And I've talked about this with good men. Do you understand that when a man grows himself and develops himself and gains wealth, do you know one of the first things he thinks is, "Now I can take care of a woman." Do you know that when a woman gets money, their first response, the boss is, "I don't need a man."
That's
Right.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy?
Delusional.
Delusional, because like they become. It's like that's why when women are like, I'm successful, we don't want to fuck you because you're successful. We don't. I'm sorry. So women think like I make money. That unless you're dating a soy boy, that you're taking care of.
Success isn't one of the 3 S's.
It's not. That's the thing.
Right.
Guys don't care.
Well, that's why when people say, I watch this because you watch these people fight about masculine and feminine, at least we've defined it now too. It's like masculine, mind, muscle, money. It breaks down that. Women, the 3 S's. It's like, because you know what happens? Those are appealing things to all guys. And if somebody tells me, well, I don't really care, I'm like, let's chat. You're a soy boy. You know what I'm saying? There's some qualities, or what you're trying to do is you're trying to defend your mother. Do you understand? You're not your mom. Do you understand? It's like, and that's why it's kind of funny when I really push, I like going, no, you're a mama's boy. Because in society, you're going to lose. So, okay, go back to you now.
The question is, you're asking about the woman not having kids and just working on her career.
Yep.
I think it's stupid. I mean, it's well, from a practical standpoint, it's population control, and I think you're really indoctrinating these women to think that they need to find their wholeness, through work, and they're not built for that consistently. They're meant to be home supporting, and I'm not saying they can't work. Don't get me twisted here, okay?
I employ your wife.
Yep.
I employ hundreds of women.
Yep.
So I'm a big fan of women
Yeah.
being in the workforce.
But I think it's
And I don't pay them less because they're women.
Yeah.
All that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
So I think it's honestly it's sad. It's sad that a woman gets stuck in that and she's bought on that idea that I could work my way to happiness, not to have a man, all that thing. The whole thing is just sad. And they're going to have a very bitter, miserable life. And probably a lot of health problems, too.
It's funny you say that. Do you know what's really funny? Would you guys consider me an independent man?
I would.
Fuck no.
Triggered.
You fell in the trap.
There's nobody that's independent. That's what women tell me, you're independent. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? I'm sorry. You've jerked off before. I'd rather have someone else do it for me. I'm dependent on that. You understand? I'd rather give a point.
Personality.
No, I'm saying this concept of independence is really stupid. Every one of us are dependent on some people. I'm dependent on Travis, he's dependent on me. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. I'm dependent on my wife, she's dependent. It's supposed to be that way. This concept of independence, and that's why it's like women are trying to like tell us independence, and I'm like going, I'm a hugely successful man. I am in the top point. I did this the other day. It's kind of funny. No, I talk about the female calendar where it's like, okay, what kind of guy do you want? And I rank in the top 0.002% of all guys, from height, weight, money, success, all things like this, and what women want that way. I'm the 0.002%. That's why women say I want this. And I'm like going, okay, then you're competing with all the other girls that want the 0.00. Give me a point and stuff. And so I sit there and go, and I can honestly tell you, that's why I said, as I got older, was maybe a very successful businessman, was realizing that that in order to accomplish great things, you need great people around you, and great people are not born; they're developed. Yep. And so therefore, that's why it's like, so this concept of being independent is fucking stupid. And the feminists and all these people of thing are saying, well, you're an independent woman. Well, no, because that's the stupidest concept in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
I'm very dependent. If that's the case, I'm going to just get rid of all the 400 employees I have tomorrow. And guess what happens is like, yep, I'm independent. I'll take care of all myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I use a dumb example. It's like, you can be independent if you want. You don't have sex by yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just not as fun. So you can do it. There's a lot of shit you can do independently.
It's like eating, ice cream from the freezer versus, DQ back in the day before Wellness Way.
Okay, good. Okay. So thoughts. So we had to, now ladies talk about this, about the concept of the 35.
All of it.
Yep. So Dana, we're going to go to Kathy and Jean.
I have a lot of thoughts. Let's see where
Go
we
ahead.
end up going here. I've actually kind of thought about this recently, and I wondered if, okay, let's just pretend women get married in their early 20s, okay, and then they're not ready to go to the workforce till 35, like, right, just cut it off there. What if they actually did stay home for that long? Like, what would actually end up happening to our workforce and our society and the success of our society, because we would have more men out there, right? Because if you take out that big group of women, because those women are largely in the workplace, like in their 20s, if
taking
we
the
took
place of
them
the man.
out and we had more men in there, like potentially, I don't know, how much more successful might businesses be? How much more masculine run would our society be, ultimately leading to more success? How much more, I don't know, kick-ass would we just be as a country in general? How well would that do for the economy? I don't know. I've just, I've thought about that. Of what if we actually did that? What would end up happening? It would probably be, I don't know, probably some pretty good results is what I think. But
the trickle down of that would be, and then the home side too, like
Yeah.
the parenting and the family.
right, and then you just have that femininity in the home. And Pearl told us this, that banks are looking to invest into wine and cat food now because women now, like they're getting, like you were talking before, they're getting to their 30s and now they're successful. Maybe they want to have a family now, but now no man is good enough, or they can't find one because all the ones have the barefoot pregnant wife in the kitchen, by this point, because those women pass those men up and everything, because women think they don't need a man, which is just completely delusional. Like, you think you can make your own money and defend yourself after a few self-defense classes and have your own sex. Like, no, that's insane. If someone breaks into your house, you want a man there to save you. You want a man to provide for you at home. And by the way, that toy that you're using when you're having sex, it is shaped like a man and was invented by a man.
God bless America.
Yeah, that's right.
Here.
Well, it's like the perfect example. I always say vegans are closet meat eaters because they turn everything into a burger.
Yeah.
You're saying it's like
The burger
Yeah.
illusion.
you ever said a veggie burger? What the hell is a veggie burger?
Just eat broccoli.
That's right. Just eat the fucking salad or the
Should be called
soy.
a burger.
Yeah, it's like
Real meat.
Dildos
like,
are
I don't
not
need-
shaped like vaginas for a
That's
reason.
right. Yeah, it's like I don't need a man, but then you have a toy. You say that's a good point and stuff like that. So okay. Speaking of that, hey,
saying.
let's go to Kathy now.
Hey,
Speaking-
Just saying.
Well, I'll just bring it back. I think that the women that, so my story is a little different in that my mother for the time had me later. And my experience with that was that, it's going to sound funny because she was pretty young, but that she couldn't do the things in school because she was then the older mom.
Yep.
So I said, I am going to do the complete opposite of that because I wanted to have my kids young before I was 30 so that I could then be now enjoying life with my partner and stuff like that. And as far as staying home, I'm back and forth with that because I don't know that would have been fulfilling enough for me either all the time. Like,
Right.
I loved being with my kids, but 5 days a week, I needed a little bit more than that. I needed the interaction of other adults.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Gene.
My turn. Yeah, when my kids were born, I lost a lot of sleep because I didn't want to stop looking at them and watching them breathe and just exist, which is why I had two more. And I would have had more, but it was just like, go back to work, go back to work. The golden carrot awaits, go back to work. And I liked working. I was comfortable with my job, yet okay, so I'm getting paid X amount of money, so I can do these things for my kids. So I was caught. I mean, it was all my choice. I know that now, but I was caught in that trap of raising my kids during the day and working at night. Mother during the day, working at night.
Woof.
And then under the criticism of, well, you're sleeping all the time. Yeah, 2 hours a day. So all the spouse is saying is, you sleep all the time. Yeah, it's 2 hours a day. So I switch shifts. Oh, you switch shifts. Now that's going to change your whole family dynamic.
Right.
Well, I doubled my sleep.
Yep.
I knew where I was going with it. I knew what I had to do, and I knew what I wanted. But there's, again, the golden carrot. And eventually, 27 years later, I said, no, that's just a trap.
Yep.
And I changed course. I took the risk and changed course. But now, when I look back, my daughter, she's a CPA. She's newly married, and she's constantly asking me questions about her body and what she's curious about with reproduction and what should I be looking for. And I'm just like, you're gonna have to slow down, So
CPA is a rough job. Like
Well,
those hours and
yeah, exactly.
It's
But I mean,
rough.
at least fortunately, she can do some stuff at home and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, and she's got really good balance. But
Still.
she's a CPA in this day and age, and I think, well, she got that from me. She got that ethic from me. Mom raised us. She worked 40, 60, sometimes more hours per week. And again, then I get concerned for her health. At least I had a lot of support.
Yep.
And I was always on a mission to support myself physically and otherwise. But, what did I set my daughter up for?
Yep.
Right.
So these
It's
are
fun,
things
it's
to
funny
be
you say that
concerned about.
because it reminds me of a story. This was 2017, and it was the year after Trump was president and everything. And for anniversary, decided to go to New York and Trump Tower. And at this time, it was our 16-year anniversary and stuff like that. And we walked in to Trump Tower. And it's New York City, okay, right by Central Park. And we went to the front desk, and they knew it was our anniversary and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh, how many years have you been married?" And we said it was like 16 or something that way. And she's like, and the people look at us like that we were like, like these unicorns.
Yeah, like you said, 60 years or something.
Because to them, and like, well, you want me to blow our mind away? We also have 4 daughters. So like, because in that culture that's set there, I'm sorry, New York and California sets a lot of cultures. A lot of things that happens in California happens in New York perpetuates things away. But what happened is, in a short time of culture, that being married they're like, nobody's married for 16 years around here. Nobody has 4 kids, can't afford them. In New York City, and then to it was that cultural shift. I'm like, and I probably would really threw them off. I said, yeah, and she stayed home with the kids. They probably would have a seizure if I would have told them that. No, but what caused us to survive and grow for thousands of years within a very short time has become just like, oh my goodness, like massively abnormal.
Right.
And it's like, if you tell a daughter, say, listen, that it's actually, and because once again, sorry ladies, your value is based on your be able to give life, and that's why that guys look at 3 things in women: purity, youth, and beauty. You understand? So all these girls that they're like, I'm gonna go out and be a boss bitch. You slept with 50. Didn't we have a topic like body
counts, whether they matter or not.
Yeah. You understand? And I'm
We'll
sorry.
get to it.
And watch this. If here, watch this, Mike or Joe. Joe, Mike. I'm gonna go Mike and Joe. Okay. As you guys become more successful, okay, you don't want a woman that has been, let's say.
Run through.
Oh, okay, look at Dana. Okay, I'll let you say it. You don't want that.
Only fans.
Yeah. It's like no. It's like all. You see my point? Now, Durham, guy that is
Soy latte pussified beta male.
he's just happy he's getting pussy, so he'll take anything.
Yeah. And he'll let her, pay all the bills and
Well, and he's just like
and
he's just
sleep
like
on the couch
because
and,
he now married up a little bit or dated up because he's like, well, dude, as I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have any appeal, and that's what I tell. So I got a question for both of you guys because here it happens. Ed, now because you're single, now it's a little different for you, but as you're single, do you find it easier that women find you more attractive as you become more successful, and your options are?
I would say that's for sure true.
That's my point. It's biological.
It's
and
well,
women
it's,
hate
it's,
that.
It's provide. I mean, I learned a long time ago from
Security.
my grandmother. Men are supposed to provide, pursue, and protect.
Yep.
And we could take Sean. Is Sean Connery still alive?
Oh yeah, I love Sean. No,
So-
Dad Basic's great though.
But let's say
He's great.
he's 80 years old. He's walking around,
He's still sexy.
right? And there isn't a 30-year-old in Green Bay that wouldn't be like, "Hey, Sean."
That's what I'm saying. He's still sexy.
Jack
just
Nicholson,
like-
same
that's right.
thing.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's
Remember
one of
about
the
it.
things, one of the blessings about being a guy is
we have that blessing.
is we, if you, it wasn't that long ago where, I think the numbers are somewhere around 40% of men had children, but 80% of women had children.
Mm-hmm.
And the average husband was 15, 20, 25 years older. And there was a reason for that, I'm sure.
Well, I think
I
we
hate
should
that.
come back
That's
to that a little
working
bit.
for me.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's sad I have to announce this. He actually died in 2021.
You did, I remember.
Sean,
So, Mike,
I mean, coming from a point of if a woman is, we'll go the OnlyFans thing that you brought up right there.
Yeah.
We go to what we want out of a woman, purity. If I see fucking pictures of the one that I'm with, that's not special anymore.
Nope.
Everyone had a touch. Everyone had a look.
Yep.
It's, you want that enclosed, relationship of where she wants me for me, and then I want her because no one else can have her.
Right.
And you want to
Exclusivity.
Yeah. So that's highly important.
Yep.
I would never want a woman that they all look at themselves, not look how successful, look at my money. No one wants that shit.
Yep.
Ain't special anymore.
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I think high value, successful man, pick your term, is a king can marry anybody and make someone a queen.
Yep.
And a queen can only give birth to a king. And I think that upsets people, some feminist people.
Well, it also there's the old saying. It's like you'll never see a rich girl go to Starbucks and pick up the guy. You understand? No. But you're a hot girl working at Starbucks, a guy that's high value will take her home and marry her.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Because it's all about peace. It's all some of the relationships I've had that ended poorly. It was because I could not do what I had to do during the day, and then come home and put together her puzzle for her every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
I hate
I won't do that. So for me, it's about peace, and you get to come along for the ride, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And I wouldn't, if tomorrow
Next.
I met the woman of my dreams, I wouldn't expect her to work. If she wanted to work, great. But I would never expect her to work. That she's going to bring other things to the family that are as equally important, if not more.
Well, remember, they have more important things. So why can't we say this? Why can't we say that women have more important things than us, and we have more important things than them? That's valuing what they can do.
I agree.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's why the whole identify transgender bullshit is like, I'm going, you are actually downplaying the value of what a man has, truly a true man has, and a true woman has. Because to say that that men can breastfeed or women, you're downplaying.
No,
it's like going no.
please, no.
It's like
GMO
guess what?
milk.
Women are great at things. Men are great at things, and therefore, men bring great things to society. Women bring this, and it's like, and if you try to cross connect that, it just doesn't work. Do you understand? And I don't know why women, you suck at certain things. But you can say, guys, you suck at certain things. Men, you're great at some things. Women, you're great at some things that way. And it's like, and that's value. Do you understand? That's value. It's like, and like I said, and I truly believe that women have it tougher in society than men because they can't be themselves all the time. Women cannot be themselves all the time. They cannot. Men can. You understand?
Why can't women just be women and be good at what they're good at, and men be men and be good at what they're good at? Why do we got to keep jumbling it up?
Okay. So, first of all, actually, I was going to say before, I actually used to work at Starbucks, and I worked in the drive-through window, and that's totally true. I got hit on all, I got hit on all the time. I specifically remember one guy being like, "You tell your boss it's all about marketing," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You're easy on the eyes," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Was it my
It still makes me laugh today.
Sounds like my dad.
It still makes me laugh today. No, this seems like a very good time to bring up the importance of polarity in the sexes and in the masculine and the feminine. And this doesn't apply to the workplace as much as it really applies to the home, right? But we need polarity. We need to have our complementary opposites, right? So we talk a lot about masculine and feminine, and I'm just blanket applying those to male and female, right? Like we can go into other things about that, but we don't need to do that today. We're just talking about the rules and not the exceptions. But we need to have this polarity. You need to have your complementary opposites, because you do need your men to be masculine and you do need your women to be feminine, because that's how it works for passion in a relationship. You don't need that to have love in a relationship, but you do need to have it to have passion. And the more masculine women are becoming, and then the more feminine that men are becoming, you're getting so close to center that you're starting to become depolarized. And then you lose passion, and that's how relationships fall apart, and they don't work like that. And okay, look, you can call it conspiracy and whatever all you want, but I also think there's a little bit of some forces trying to push people toward the middle, because if you do that, then people don't reproduce, and then we can fall into the whole depopulation agenda that will get us kicked off YouTube.
You know my definition of conspiracy theorist, right?
Oh, that we're just right.
Well, what happens is we can connect the dots before everybody else does.
Well, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Well, that's what's going on. Well, if you push women and you make them more masculine, then men don't want them. Well, now they're not getting married, and they're having their wine and their cat food instead. And well, mission accomplished.
And
now
so
you're not
are the
having
men.
babies.
Well,
Men are
but
having
also
cat
remember this
food and
too.
wine.
So let's go back to this. Let's go back to.
I don't trust dudes that have cats.
Oh, dude.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm serious. If you've got a cat and you're a dude, just
Yep.
or yeah, I just
That's like women that always eat salads. I can't trust those bitches.
Right.
yeah. It's
Right.
like, dude,
Right.
I know you got teeth. You
Yo.
know, you're gonna get home and have a cheeseburger.
That's
Cut the
right.
shit.
But Kathy, and think about this. Now let's do this. And Kelly's here, so we're gonna put Kelly on the spot.
Oh, no.
This is a sex question too. So here we
Oh
go.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, and here we
Would.
go. Because 36 years of marriage and stuff like this. Here's what happens: those traits that made you successful in business, male or female. We talked about the characteristics.
Oh, that made me successful in business.
Yes.
We're male.
Okay, Kelly, do you want to fuck another male?
Exactly.
This is a safe space, Kelly. This is a safe space.
That was an admin note.
No,
Yeah.
no,
That was
but,
the right
but here's
answer.
this is why I say women have it tougher in society than men, because to go out, be competitive, be good at your job, you have to become more like a man. But Kelly doesn't want to fuck a guy.
No.
So then you have to come home, and just like I saw that feminine part of you come out, that soft, that nurturing, that compassionate thing. Do you get my point? And see, that's where it's like going, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Do you know what I'm saying? You can be married for 25 years, 36 years that way. If you maintain that femininity, you got the guy. And that's why it's like he doesn't want to come home and compete with you. It's like you turn so women have to go out and dominate, and I want them to. I want even the women that work for me that way. You're saying, but I also have to keep them under control and protect them from themselves, because once again, they can get sick, they can do all things this, they can stress out too much that way. It's going to cause a lot of problems. So idea is this, but then what happens is, but then when they go home, I'm like, you got to turn it on for your husband. Do you understand? Because he doesn't want to sleep with another dude. Do you understand? So we can say that.
We should say though the counter to that is also true though when we're looking at like who women want to sleep with, right? Because we want to sleep with men, we don't want to sleep with our friends. So
agree,
you can't let the men get too feminine, because then it's just like your friend. Like you said, you don't want to fuck your friend.
Nope.
You want to fuck a man.
Yep.
Well, actually, you want him to fuck you, but that's beside the point.
Good
Go team.
details, guy.
Tomato, tomato.
Sorry, potato.
I clarified it.
Thank you.
You all know what I mean.
So Mike,
Details.
so I want to post out, because remember, I always like knowing people's lives. You kind of said something. I want to correct it, because I can't. You said your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance is kind of like a boss bitch in a way. I'm like going, I can't see you having.
I
a
wouldn't
boss
say
bitch.
in terms of boss bitch, but she's a tough hard ass. Which,
Yeah, but it's saying, because I still can't see it. So are you telling me that, like, let's use Kathy, because I love and respect Kathy. You can even see it today. Out in the world, she can dominate. She can be that like you talk about that day. But what is she like when she gets home?
oh, that's different. That changes.
That's my point. That's my point. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, because and I think that that's why I want people to talk about this with women, and even the employees I have. I'm like going, listen, ladies, come here, be everything you can do. And even sometimes you use those female characteristics that really make the company better. But it happens this. But you know what's really funny? There's another female that wants your job. So you have to stay competitive. You have to have those little male characteristics that someone will steal
And
your
that's
job.
what she's like, and that's awesome. It's a pride thing at that point.
That's right. But then you
and-
come home.
Yeah.
No, you got peace.
Thank you. See, that's the point.
Peace.
And I'm trying to get that across to women going, hey, listen, dominate, do those things, do society. I support you. You could be a young thing, but then the result is after having all the handbags and all the money and all the stuff that you can sit there and go, we don't sit there and go, that's appealing to us. You saying? Because you know what's really funny? You say, well, but Doc, that's you. No. Ladies, let me say something. You want guys like us.
Yeah.
You don't want the fucking...
Soy latte, pussified beta males.
God, that's
saying?
awesome. I love that.
Because you like
That was a high
do you
five
understand
right
that women like those guys more than they like people like us? Do you understand that? They do like them because they're kinder than us.
And they're safe.
Well, they're like friends.
That's my point.
And
They're like
they're
friends.
easy
They
to
stay in the friend
manipulate.
zone.
I want to get in the end zone. Not the friend zone.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Well, that's why you ever watch the movie. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. I had it playing all day today. You know, it's
God,
Days
Daddy's
Home
Home
when he's
2.
Days Home 2. It's
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
in
Great.
Mark Wahlberg, you got the stud and
Oh,
you got
okay.
the
Mel
soy
Gibson in there,
latte.
too.
Yeah. Pussified beta male.
And Will
Yes.
Ferrell,
Yep.
and he comes down that escalator, and all the girls are like going, "Holy shit, I want to fuck that guy." Do you understand?
Even some
and
of
then
the
when
guys were
Mel
like-
Gibson comes down in the same kind of masculine attitude, even the young girls are going, "I want to fuck that guy."
And then John Lithgow or whoever.
That comes down. It's like,
I don't think
just
so.
put those women in menopause. The vagina just dried up.
Sahara Desert.
That's my point. But that's the
But
truth
I'm
of it
sure
that
he's
way.
a lovely human and pays his taxes and all that.
And his mom loves
Probably
him.
reads poetry and
That's
shit.
right.
Yeah.
It's like, but see,
Has a
that's-
cat.
He's
That's
a
That's
cats.
what
politician.
Probably has cats.
See, so I was right, Mike. See, that's the thing. You know, people, there's no way that you would not have that feminine woman. There's no way it's your success and your masculine and stuff like that you would even allow that in your relationships. But now let's go one step further. That's why I have always saying, if you don't grow, you go. I can't handle males around me, or even females, but males around me that are not on a constant growth track, because I can't.
Yeah, it's an anchor.
Because what happens is
Liability.
this, and that's
Holds
why I
you back.
said that's why men need to be with men, and actually really because our conversation and even how we talk to men are going to be different that way. Even if I want women to grow, I'm not going to talk to them the same way. By nature, they're women. I can't. You understand? They can't.
job.
You know, they can't. It's like, but I can push a guy and push it, and that's why it's like going. So I can't have them around me. I just cannot. And I want them to fucking hate me. I said, if you're a real man, you want people to love you or hate you. There is no in between. Because then what happens is you don't have standards and boundaries, and you compromise for people to be around you. Because all I ask is this. All I ask is just always be growing. Doesn't mean there won't be mistakes. Doesn't mean there won't be fuck ups. Don't mean this. Shit. But the person that cares about you and leading you and trying to get you better will tell you what you say to him a couple times a day.
You're a pussy.
Yeah.
Suck it up, buttercup.
That's it.
Hey! No, exactly.
And I had this conversation.
And it's out of love, because
Right.
and that's the thing. I think a lot of people, especially men, were like, "Well, he's always hard on me." No, it's because I give a shit. If I didn't give a shit, I
wouldn't even talk to you.
I wouldn't waste my time.
I would tell people, if I don't talk to you, be scared.
Yeah, the hammer's coming.
I agree.
Yeah. If I don't talk to you, be scared, because I'm planning your fucking exit.
Your next call is from HR.
Yes. Oh no, because I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
but it's true though, and that's why I think it's got to be those conversations that when men get around men that way, it's got to be okay. Listen, here we go, and stuff like that. And then what it does, it pushes them, and that's why I tell people, if I see a guy that everybody likes, I'm like, he stands for nothing. See, people say, and I will say this, I love this,
That's why you should have,
and
like,
I think,
3 friends.
do you understand that this? Now I'm gonna go a little extreme, and I want to get the female perspective on this because here's what happens. Because I know females' first response to this, and because they're nurturing and compassionate that way, until they have to marry or fuck them. But let me explain. I tell you this: these presidents we're going to unite everybody. That's not true. A true president will divide everybody, because he will point out the inadequacies. And he will say, you suck, you're this, you're detriment to society, get the fuck out, kill yourself. See, I tell people this. I want to push guys so much that they either become better or they kill themselves. Because either way, society gets better. It's not a joke. Men don't have mental health
I'm
issues.
agreeing with it.
Yeah, but here's the point is, because think of it this way. And now women by nature don't like that because they're compassionate, nurturing, until they're dependent on that guy. They're like, fuck that guy. Do you get my point? Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. that's why it's like going, well, and we give men this bullshit of mental health excuses and stuff like that, which is total bullshit anyways, because like I said, it's hard to be depressed when you're always moving forward.
That's a very true statement.
Yeah, action alleviates
Eliminates
depression.
Why do you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think exercise itself releases depression? Because you have to be pushing forward. And now women, it can do it, but they can lead depression if they drain themselves too much.
Right.
And so that's why I tell people, like, going, no, that's why. And so therefore, men around me, they'll be like, and they'll play the woman card. I had a doctor in St. Peters, Missouri, fired his ass, soy boy ass, because you know why? He's like, because you know why? And it's really funny. And I predicted his wife will eventually fuck somebody else, because he's kind of a soy boy, not that great looking. He got lucky and married a good looking girl. And then what happens this? It was kind of funny. And then here's what happens this. And eventually she's going to get sick of his bullshit, because he's not going to be a provider, things like that. And what's going to happen. And I see it all the time. I sit there and go, and here's what happens. And I tell people, and what people will do, and I'll push him so hard that guess what? He either cracks or he gets better.
Exactly.
And if he cracks and he goes the wrong way, or actually, and I know something weird, and this is going to sound very disgusting, if he kills himself, he makes the world a better place. Because if you're not adding to society, you're sucking for society. And everybody said they hate parasites. Do you understand? But somebody that doesn't have any contribution to society brings no value as a guy that way. And so therefore you only, now remember, when I mean push him, I don't mean push him where he does that way. It's saying, listen, that you, like I said, I have no problem looking at a guy saying, you suck. You suck. You are just a horrible individual. You contribute no value to a woman, to society, to me. And now what happens is this. Now, who do guys like that surround themselves with then? Women.
Makes him feel
Well,
better.
I look at it like meow, like
cats.
and
Cats.
cats. They probably
Cats,
drink
they're-
soy latte, mocha fropa, ass, whatever you said. But you look like I look at, for example, like coaches, like
Yep.
sports. I mean, I grew up where kids still played sports, and,
Yeah.
and didn't get trophies for showing up. And I look at all the coaches, like the best coaches I had were constantly on my ass all the time. And I love that. I mean, if I'm up, I want to know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there are some people that like that, and there's some people that don't. And in my business, I deal with a lot of women, so I have to soften it up or have somebody else share that message with them and give them a hug. But yeah, I think men need to keep men accountable.
Imagine if you didn't have that coach.
But can I add something? I'm going to
Sure.
give you a business. I'm going to give you a business tip.
Okay.
Okay. I got Aaron and Sarah here as far as two very good employees. Once again, have high roles in the company that way. And you know what's really funny? Here's what happens. I think you're going to make a big mistake by having somebody else talk to those women. What you need to do to those women, you say, listen, in society, the traits that the crying, the things like this, in society, will that help you succeed or not? Will that help you be successful in your business? If you want to cry and be emotional, stay at home. If you want to enter this world, I'm going to fucking chew your ass out because you want a better life in society, and it doesn't come from you acting like a woman and crying and all that bullshit.
And they get their permission and their buy-in.
So therefore, don't enter society, ladies, if you don't want to be treated like a guy. And business and society is governed by those. Once again, nobody has a problem if I talk about the Packers this way, because everybody wants the best team. And it's not because, man, a coach did this. Hey, I'm the head coach. Hey, you're the quarterback coach. Can you go talk to Aaron Rodgers and stuff of this? No, because do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You won't
No,
get the
that's good.
best.
That's rude.
And so if you employ women, so I teach women, say, listen, if you're going to succeed in society, here's the characteristics. So if you want to keep those characteristics and you want to compete and be this, and remember, and that's why, and here's really funny. But that's why I said it's kind of funny is like we and they're wrong. So you can address them differently. I believe it's differently than addressing a man. But you have to say, listen, those behaviors are not. You want success, right? Yes, I want to be one of the top people in our MLM because you have an MLM, right? Well, then guess what? Does competitive or nurturing get you there? Oh, you're right, competitive. Then you have to drop those feminine qualities. We're not at home.
Yeah.
We're not at home.
Yeah. Go
You
home
understand?
and hug your dog later.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But see that. So I understand. So that's why my women succeed massively.
Yeah.
You understand?
No,
And
that's really good. Thank you.
yeah.
And I respect that more too when it's happened to me too, because I want to be successful not because someone feels sorry for me.
Right.
I want to be
Right.
successful because I'm successful.
Right.
Or I want to bring something to the table because I actually bring something to the table, not because, oh my God, I don't want her to cry, so we'll just let her do whatever.
Right.
I don't want that.
Or
So
if-
I want someone to be straight
Right.
with me, not always cutthroat, or I want them to maybe hear me, but
Right.
I like the directness.
Right.
No, and I think I just talk to them differently, and
Yep, you have to address them
Now
differently.
I have to, I can say things to Mike that I can't say to Dana. Well, Dana doesn't count, but
True. You'd be like, really?
how about Alex? No, she doesn't count either. But so okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, because but what you just did is by pointing out Alex and Dana. But if you can come to the women over there,
Sure.
it's like they understand they're entering. You have to enter those masculine traits to compete in business and to be the best and do those things and to get the results you want. Even if you're going to do a YouTube page, even if you're going to do a podcast, even if you're going to be a doctor, there's those boss characteristics that you have to present with that way. And you have to, that's what I said, women have it tougher. They do. We can just be our natural selves and stuff like that. And it's the women that have the women that succeed in society learn how to use that to their advantage. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and they can do it. I try to teach women that way. Do you understand? And so what I want to see with the people that way, and see, that's why I come back to this. If I didn't want to if I didn't want to lead a company if I didn't want to have to invest into the women and the men, I should have never started a company. Right. If I didn't want to invest into a child or a wife, I should have never got married and had a kid. Don't give either one of us a pass.
Got it.
Right.
There you go.
That's good stuff.
Those are thoughts. It's my
That's
thoughts.
a good circle right there.
Yeah.
It's all
Bring it around.
intertwined, though.
Yeah, it is. It all.
Yeah.
Everything.
To bring it back.
Yes, it's like, and here's happens this, and those things can be trained. And what I believe that will just make society better. I believe it'll make relationships better. And you think I'm joking? I've been trying to teach this for so long, and the biggest pushback I got was from the church and other females. It's not a joke, not a joke. And I'm like, and it sounds funny, and I had to clear all that stuff out of your life. And it's enduring. It's difficult because you know there's things that come. But I'm like going, wait, no, because I grew a big company, having those traits, but then constantly getting pushback. And I'm like going, no, it doesn't work that way. And you're either going to jump on this train, or I'm fucking kicking you off. It doesn't matter who you are, and it could be a family member, it could be somebody that you employ. That's what I tell people. It's like, and then. See, this resonates, and this is a little different crowd today compared to some other crowds. It was very easy to have these conversations today that I didn't have in the other podcast because I knew all you guys already, and you're already on the growth track, so it's easy to hear the stuff.
Yeah.
But go to a person.
7 out of 10. Yeah.
Right.
9 out of 10 are going to reject this. 9.5 out of 10 are going to reject this.
To your point, as you were saying that, I was reflecting. I'm going, you know what? The people that meet me face to face, like me, I would say more often than not, I would say 9 out of 10 people would say I'm a nice guy, I'm genuine, I'm kind, all these things. You go online or whatever, or outside of my umbrella, we'll call it, and I'm probably the biggest asshole out there. Just by standing my ground, I always continue to grow and staying callous where I need to be calloused.
Right.
You know, we don't even have the second question.
Nope.
All
Once we
right.
got to 9 o'clock, I'm like, well, that's not happening today.
So what we're going to do now is this. We're going to go around final thoughts. Everybody gets to express.
We can go for
I
another
don't-
3 hours.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I could too.
We'll fire up this cigar.
You know what? You'll just have to come back.
There you go.
Yes.
Cigar.
Yeah, it's
Smoke
kinda funny.
coat.
Save the second
Your
question
smoke
for you.
coat, yes.
Well, and see,
And a
it's
brandy.
kind of funny is like, and I like to make certain statements that we can build upon, and even though that we kind of agreed on the kind of first question, it led to really even stuff that we can disagree on that way, and then figure stuff out together.
Yeah.
Do you say? And then just by having those conversations, you can share things that work, advice, and things like that. You say, and they get a better perspective.
That flowed well today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so Jean, final thoughts. Anything that you want to
Final
say? Anything
thoughts.
to this? Anything you want to add into?
Right. We hit on the feminine and the masculine and roles and how society can run a little bit better. And Dana, you stated a really good case there. I've seen the light prior to this by putting that sort of thing into action, by saying, well, yeah, in my life, my guy needs to step up and stop having me do X amount outside of the home and more inside the home, take care of myself so I'm available to him in that supportive sense. And he is coming around you know, like he's made the adjustment. Now my man is retired. He's fully retired. And if I stayed in the job, I could be fully retired in a year and a half, but I chose not to. And I think that in a way that me being still in the workforce helps us out in our family unit. But the fact that I'm not pushing it like I used to forces him to step up. So I think a lot of women can push that and get their men right now who are failing to step up by pulling themselves back a little bit from taking on those masculine roles so strongly. It's doable. I've done it. I know it can be done.
Great insight.
Awesome. That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
I think your original 95% comment, you were talking about only 5% of humanity is growth mindset. Was that
They studied it. It's
Yeah.
only 5%.
Well, and I wrote down some other things that I've heard recently that were 95%. And 95% of Americans at 65 are dead broke, dependent on somebody else, or still working. So 95% don't make it, which is interesting. I thought that was kind of played in thing. And I heard today on the radio that Americans over the age of 30, 95% of them will never sprint again in their life. Think about that. Like never, like
I can sprint.
Like never run after
I
you're
just
30.
sprinted
Like
not that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, go out in the woods and I don't know, run. And then one of the quotes is, you said nobody likes a parasite, and I'm like, yeah, nobody likes ticks or leeches. No one's like, So let's thin out the parasites.
Agreed.
Politicians is Greek, and for many, bloodsuckers. There you go. Thank you for having me on.
You bet, man. Travis.
First off, it's been a blessing talking to all of you. This has been great. It's sometimes, Dan and I might have to pick up a little bit to keep Doc moving, all these things, but we don't have to when you have an awesome, group like this. So thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. I wrote down 3 words during the course of the podcast here, and the first one is, just to wrap it all up here, is know your role. It's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be a man. Know your roles. You can try to do the opposite, but you're going to find yourself in a shitstorm at some point in your life. So why don't you just accept who you are and be the best version of yourself? And the second part is self-control. And I'll just throw even discipline in there, because if you discipline right, you have self-control down the road. We don't teach that no more. And that's probably why we're seeing some of those numbers right there. So I think we need to get back to discipline to earn or gain self-control and learn how to use it, so we can get back to an old school society again. We've lost it, and we have no identity. And where we're trying to find our identity is in stupidity, like the LGBTQ9 or whatever, plus 2, 5, 6, 7, the whole alphabet,
Alpha Sigma.
cats,
So,
and
Soy latte, prescribed beta male.
we've lost it. So when Doc talks, I look at it, I go, okay, I've heard a lot of this from my coaches. But their coaches can't even yell anymore. I was a coach not too long ago, and I couldn't yell at the players like I got yelled at just a decade and a half earlier. So to all these people, that's the society we're up against right now. And instead of being the silent majority, let's all do our part. When you have the opportunity to encourage someone, slap them up a little bit, do it. Don't just walk by and ignore them. Don't be part of because I honestly, Doc said one time, we are part of the problem if we don't step up. Yeah. If you're the silent majority, you are the part of the problem. You are. He told that right to a Marine once in Florida. I'll never forget that. And he looked at it, he goes, "You're part of the problem." This guy went to war, everything. I mean, this guy had a reason to be stressed and everything. He goes, "You're part of the problem. You're sitting there and just let him. You do you. No, stop." But anyways, not you.
No, I love it. Yeah. Give him shit.
No.
My point is,
Just saying it right here.
let's be okay with, hey, we messed it up. Let's get back to square one.
I love it.
God and discipline.
Dana.
One thing that I think is really cool about the time that we live in and what we're doing right now is that if you really think about it, like, we're creating the media. Like, the media doesn't have to be what they put out there or just the TV or just the radio or anything. We're creating the media. And so I hope that everybody comes on Tuesday nights, and when they want to watch TV, they actually just put us on instead and listen to the things that we're saying, because to some people, this might just be a podcast. It might just be something for fun or, whatever. But this is a 250-year plan. This is what this really is. It's a plan to talk about the things that are uncomfortable, say them in a different way, make people think, trigger people on purpose, use vulgar language on purpose, because that's what we need now in order to have change. But it's a 250-year plan because we're trying to affect culture and everything downstream from there. And you can't do that unless you're doing the things that we're doing. And yeah, okay, fine. We all sat around the table and a lot of us said, I agree today, but we all did it for different reasons. And we got to remember that at the end of the day, a lot of us are just disagreeing with the mainstream and with some of the groupthink that's out there. And we're just trying to get people to look at things in a slightly different frame. I talk to clients about this all the time, where it's like they're sitting in one frame and I'm just trying to move them into a different frame of thinking, not because I'm right, not because my way is better, but because it's free over here. And it's just, the view is so much better. And so that's what I love about our plan for this.
I love it. Matrix.
Awesome.
It's funny to come from sitting in the audience and then to come up to here, only because the bond that you make with like-minded individuals. And it's our job. And like you said, if we don't do our job, then we're a part of the problem. End of story. So we have a mission and a purpose, and I can honestly look at all of you and be like, we believe in the same thing, but we come from different angles of it. And that's the cool thing about this show, is that it provides, my perspective, yours and yours and yours. And it's funny how the nucleus is the same. But as a society, we're so scared to even speak, to even talk. And communication, there's no communication. And there's a lot of us out there. And it's about being around the right people, spreading the right word and the message. And I believe this show does it. The show will grow. And I'm a huge supporter. I love it. And also, thank you for having me on.
Yep. I would echo that. Thanks for having me on. And I would say that for me, I was a little nervous to come on because I'm not really definitive on one side or the other. I'm more in the gray area than I am black or white. Shocking, I know. But I started watching the podcast and I'm like, yeah, I can get in, I'm jazzing with it. And all of a sudden it was like, I don't know. And I'm like, what? No way. It was like a bunch of yabbits. Yabbit. And I just am really thankful. Because I believe in what we're talking about, I would love to get back on the feminine qualities, to be able to put some positive connotation around it instead of negative. Why is it great to have emotion? Why is it great to be supportive? Instead of all these years that we spent making it negative. So now the girls they don't have a basis of understanding that why it can be good. So just thanks for the opportunity.
That's awesome.
The only person I disagree
Very
with her
good.
final thoughts with Kathy. Kathy, you're not gray. You're pretty black and white.
Oh, okay.
Because you showed your feminine side, you showed your masculine traits, you showed that we talked about that way. It's like, so we're a lot more alike than you ever thought we were different and stuff, because I saw all those things. And the one thing I want to encourage everybody to do, and everybody in this panel, everybody that's watching, is, I wake up in the morning and like I said, I can give you stories of massive success. I also can give you stories of massive failure. And but you know something? I only have really one fear. Does anybody know what it is? I actually have a conversation with somebody today. It's like even Travis Kunze, not Travis Frisk here, had a conversation. People don't relate to this, but do you know I only really fear God? Because what's the worst that can happen? You get killed. I'm going to heaven anyways. So a win-win. Do you understand?
You go.
And I sit there and go, and that's why it's like, all of a sudden Miranda texted me and said, Doc, they banned you from TikTok. I'm like, cool, people are pieces of shit.
Won't be the last time.
Won't.
Yeah.
Got someone
And
worked
it's really funny, and it's like, and when you have something good
You're
to
over the
say,
target.
people think that like social media and media is where it's at. You know something? You'd be surprised. When I was 25 years old, I still remember getting a call from another state, and I was like, oh my goodness. And there was no social media. And I remember being 25 in a couple months and getting a call from a state that was farther away, and I'm like, and there was no social media. I didn't even have any media. I barely had a phone. You understand? And then another country called, and then somebody flew in from another country to care, before even social media that way. Do you understand that when you have something good to say, something, there's a lot of evil out there. They're gonna find you. So that's why when people like, yeah, you got banned from a huge page on TikTok. Cool, people are pieces of shit. I expect it to happen. I expect bad things to happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect all good things to happen, but I still look at it as just an opportunity. And I'm like, so they said this show may be banned. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee that when people don't like what you say, they retaliate and they pick out certain things. Do you know how many women are just gonna be pissed off that I said pussy 10 times tonight?
At
Do you
least
stand?
6.
Yeah. And it's- yes. 3, 4, yeah.
I
No,
have
but
cats at home.
and the funny part, and you know how much, you know what's really funny, and there'll be
How
people
many
that
cats you got? 3?
yeah, and there'll be people in the Christian community that are pissed off. They'll say they'll want to control your speech over just a bunch of made up bullshit. Yet they don't realize that I'm the warrior standing by the door and I'm protecting you from evil. You know what I'm saying? Just because I think churches are a bunch of made up bullshit today, I still fear God and chase Jesus every day.
Amen.
And so therefore it's like, just because I won't follow the norm of what they think that you got to do that way, and what's the worst that can happen? You die?
Yeah.
Well, if I really believe, I'm going to heaven anyways. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it said that you always got to go, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so I encourage everybody as we continue to do this stuff, you know, share what you really believe, talk about it that way. You know, look at, you have an opportunity to not only give advice but share and learn and things like that. And I always have a thing every day. I'm going to learn something every day. You know what I'm saying? And then I believe, like I said, we're called to actually pass that down and stuff, and that's wisdom. So thanks for being on. Appreciate all you guys and stuff like that
Thank
on a
you.
regular
Thanks.
basis.
Nice, thank you.
I have a little bit of travel coming up, and so next week there's going to be
Cigars.
another different co-host here, and I will not be here. I'll be traveling, spreading our word and stuff like that. And then believe it or not, I'm going to be gone for about, I'm actually gone 6 out of the next 7 weeks and stuff, and all for great things.
Take me with you.
I am taking you with you on 2 of them and stuff like that. And it's like, and we're doing the show from Hawaii coming up on
Rhode Island.
Fun.
Maui.
Come on, Awanalea.
Yeah.
Isn't that a camp?
What's that?
Anyway.
Camp on Oahu.
Yeah,
Yep.
They give
Oh,
massages
salute
there.
your shorts.
yeah, and they're very happy
Yeah.
at the end. And so, but anyways, so thank you guys for always watching. I appreciate you guys. I love the comments. I love everything on there. And remember, a lot of people watch our show after posts on our website and things like that, and it's kind of cool. So it's like, just like on my Saturday show, we get a ton of people that watch it live, but we also get millions of people that watch it post production and stuff like that. So we got a great platform. And like I said, and what's the worst thing that happen? They ban us.
Rumble.
It's like,
They make a mean comment.
yes.
Are you okay?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
You let me
Do you want a
respond to
kitty?
those.
You want
We'll
to-
get you some therapy and a
That's
therapy
right.
cat.
All right, guys. You guys have a great
My
day. We'll see you
comfort
guys next week.
Comfort animal, yeah.